Favorite hosts like Brian Kilmeade, Jimmy Fallon, and Guy Benson standing up for what's right, live and via podcast. Just click listen, then swipe right and hear the latest news updates on your time. And scroll down to hear the latest podcasts from Fox News. And it's even easier to listen in the car with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Get programming alerts and notifications. Fox News Audio is on the Fox News app. The Voices America trusts. Download it now.
China keeps playing war games near Taiwan with military drills around the island. It claims as its own territory with ships and jets and troops doing live fire drills a second day. The Chinese statement says they want to prevent anything that tries to split Taiwan from them. Last week, China put sanctions on 20 American defense companies after the U.S. approved billions of dollars in arms sales to Taiwan. That is just one reason. Cyber attacks are another. The U.S. considers China our biggest threat.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio talked about the issue during his recent year-end news conference.
There'll be tensions, there's no doubt about it. I mean, at the end of the day, China is and it will continue to be a rich and powerful country and a factor in geopolitics.
The secretary also described the delicate balance America tries to maintain concerning China.
We have to have relations with them. We have to deal with them. We have to find the things we are able to work together on.
Rubio said, though, he thinks America can do that
without imperiling or in any way undermining our very firm commitment to our partners in the Indo-Pacific.
That includes Japan and South Korea and growing relations such as America's increasing ties with Vietnam. Kevin Uretsky, Fox News.
The FAA is investigating a near collision earlier this month in Texas at Houston's airport.
The Volaris Airlines flight bound for El Salvador made an unauthorized right turn into the path of a Jackson, Mississippi-bound flight. The FAA says air traffic control told the Volaris flight to turn left after departure, but instead it turned right towards the Commute Air flight, which had departed from a parallel runway. Gary Baumgarten, Fox News.
On Wall Street, stock futures this morning have not been moving too much after a sell-off. The Dow dropped over 200 points. On Monday Night Football, L.A. got rammed. The Atlanta Falcons beat Los Angeles on a field goal in the final minute, 27-24. I'm Dave Anthony, and this is Fox News.
Hello, everyone. It's Tom, the founder of Freedom Boat Clubs of Michiana, now with 9 wonderful locations across Northwest Indiana and beautiful Southwest Michigan. With the holidays upon us, it's a perfect time to reflect on what matters most in our lives. Few of us will ever wish we'd spent more time at work. As the old saying goes, time spent on the water will not be subtracted from our lifespan, so just how precious is that boating time? At Freedom Boat Club, we make boating simple and accessible for everyone. Just join the club and get unlimited free training plus unlimited boat usage when you want. No hassles, no complications, just quality time on the water with the people you love the most. Time is money, and Freedom Boat Club is perhaps the most efficient way to experience boating and create unforgettable memories together. For more information, please call me at 269-281-8889 or visit fbcmichiana.com. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, everyone.
You need a construction company, but who?
Call Croscom.
A construction company you can trust that shares your Christian and conservative values. For decades, Croscom has been doing work in Chicagoland, Northwest Indiana, and Wisconsin. Roofs, siding, windows, doors, gutters, basically everything for your home or business, even solar. Quality work and professional services that make you feel great about your decision to work with Croscom.
Call Croscom.
630-871-5500. Give them a chance to earn your business. If your repairs are due to storm, fire, or flood damage, you need to
call Croscom.
They're licensed public adjusters. They work for you, not the insurance company. Croscom will work to get you the money you deserve, the maximum payout. They know the insurance companies and how to deal with them. They win for you.
Call Croscom.
Croscom Construction and Public Adjusters.
This is Dan Lights with Croscom. You can trust us with your home or business for high-quality work and fair prices. It's the only way we do business.
630-871-5500. CroscomPublicAdjusters.com.
This past year has been one of the hardest in MyPillow's history. It's because of you that they are making it through. They want to thank you for your continued support by passing on some Christmas specials to our listeners. Get the Children's Bible Story Pillow 5-pack for $29.98. My Slippers with a free bottle of leather protectant spray for $39.98. Blankets, comforters, and duvets for as low as $25, and a blowout sale on the standard MyPillows for just $14.98. So go to MyPillow.com or call 800-489-0201 and use promo code LIBERTY to take advantage of these wholesale prices, including the standard size MyPillow, originally $49.98, now only $14.98. Queens $18.99. Kings only $1 more. 800-489-0201 and use promo code LIBERTY. We know MyPillow products come with a 10-year warranty, but MyPillow has just announced that they are extending their 60-day money-back guarantee. That's right. Orders placed between now and December 25th will have their 60-day money-back guarantee extended through March 1st, 2026. Promo code LIBERTY.
Don't risk losing the news, sports, and weather that AM radio delivers. When cell and internet service fail, AM is your lifeline. With time running out, your voice matters. Text AM to 39179 and tell Congress vote yes on the AM Radio for Every Vehicle Act to keep AM radio in cars.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to stop.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Scott Jennings sees the left admitting failure.
Big story in the New York Times. Headline, How Biden Ignored Warnings and Lost Americans' Faith on Immigration and Helped Return Donald Trump to the White House. It's amazing to see even the New York Times admitting the failures of Joe Biden on immigration, even though it's a little too late to do anything about it now.
The Scott Jennings Show. Weekdays at 1, right before Hugh Hewitt at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
It's December 30th, and this is your Fox Daily Snapshot. Today is National Bicarbonate of Soda Day, also known as baking soda. The fine white powder has so many uses, from cleaning to absorbing odors in your refrigerator to baking cookies and cakes. On this day in 1809, wearing masks at balls in Boston is prohibited because people there believed it was detrimental to morals. John E. Hoover changes his name in 1918 to J. Edgar Hoover. He was appointed director of the Bureau of Investigation. The FBI's predecessor in 1924 was a key player in founding the FBI in 1935. He was the director for 37 years until he died in 1972 at the age of 77. In 1924, Edwin Hubble announces the existence of other galactic systems. The Hubble telescope was later named after him. Born on this day, Fox TV star Sean Hannity, born in 1961. I'm CJ Papa. That's your Fox Daily Snapshot.
Hey, Chicagoland, your trusted friend Jeff here from JeffBuysYourHouse.com. Over the past few months, I've shared how our veteran-led team serves Chicagoland homeowners. Today, I want to share with you what your neighbors are saying about working with us. Like Mary in Downers Grove, who wrote, "They listened to my concerns about moving from my home of 30 years and created a timeline that worked for me." Or Tom and Carol Stream, who said, "Their team helped me sort through 40 years of memories with respect and patience." This is why hundreds of your neighbors have given us a 5-star Google review and an A+ rating with the BBB. We don't just buy houses. We help people through life's transitions with understanding and care. No repairs needed, no cleanout required, and always on your timeline. Ready to work with the home buying team your neighbors trust? Sell your house to the trusted source by calling us at 630-895-9530. That's 630-895-9530 or jeffbuysyourhouse.com.
When it comes to industrial coating and finishing, cutting corners isn't an option. That's why leading manufacturers across the Midwest trust D&D Industrial Coatings in Racine, Wisconsin. From powder coating and liquid painting to blasting and custom finishing, D&D Industrial delivers top-tier protection and performance, fast, precise, and built to last. With over 40 years of experience, ISO-certified processes, and state-of-the-art lines, D&D handles everything from OEMs and petrochemical to agriculture, marine, construction, medical, and government specs. Family-owned, nationally trusted. Whether it's a short run or high volume, your parts are in expert hands, finished on time and finished right. Visit them today, ddindustrial.net. Again, that's ddindustrial.net. Or call them at 262-637-0686 to get your custom quote today. Again, that's 262-637-0686. D&D Industrial Coatings. Engineered to protect. Finished to impress.
Making the switch to a new communications and IT company may seem like a big ordeal. But if you're not getting the reliable support, consistent internet, and secure solutions your company needs, meet Access One, your local Chicagoland IT experts. Access One has been powering Chicago businesses with secure, reliable IT solutions for over 30 years from our headquarters right here in the West Loop. Whether it's VoIP phones, dedicated internet, managed cybersecurity, cloud backups, or 24/7 support, Access One is here for you. serving thousands of companies from Naperville to the North Shore. Access One is Chicago-owned and Chicago-run, a trusted IT partner for law firms, clinics, tech startups to manufacturers. We'll make the switch easier than you think. Let's talk. Call 800-804-8333 or visit accessoneinc.com. Rated top 5% in customer satisfaction and a Better Business Bureau A+ rated business. That's accessoneinc.com. Tech made personal locally.
Hello?
Sir, this is Officer Peterson. There's been a string of break-ins in the area, and your office, it was hit.
Hit? What do you mean? We were robbed?
Looks like the back door lock was easily pried open, and they moved through the building like they knew exactly what to take. We see wires everywhere. No computers.
What? No computers? I just upgraded everything.
Looks like they moved fast. We only found out because a neighboring business had their alarm go off. Do you have any security cameras?
No, nothing.
Don't wait until it's too late. Goldilocks protects Chicagoland businesses with custom security solutions. From reinforced commercial doors with keyless entry to cameras and 24/7 monitoring that alerts authorities immediately. Schedule a free on-site assessment at GoldilocksInc.com. Again, that's GoldilocksInc.com. Plus, AM 560 listeners get their first 3 months of monitoring free with a new install. Call 708-889-5600. That's 708-889-5600. Goldilocks, Chicago's premier locksmith, doors, and security systems company since 1981.
Hello, everyone. It's Tom, the founder of Freedom Boat Clubs of Michiana, now with 9 wonderful locations across Northwest Indiana and beautiful Southwest Michigan. With the holidays upon us, it's a perfect time to reflect on what matters most in our lives. Few of us will ever wish we'd spent more time at work. As the old saying goes, time spent on the water will not be subtracted from our lifespan, so just how precious is that boating time? At Freedom Boat Club, we make boating simple and accessible for everyone. Just join the club and get unlimited free training plus unlimited boat usage when you want. No hassles, no complications, just quality time on the water with the people you love the most. Time is money, and Freedom Boat Club is perhaps the most efficient way to experience boating and create unforgettable memories together. For more information, please call me at 269-281-8889 or visit fbcmichiana.com. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, everyone.
Now, your official weather forecast.
Today, expect chilly temperatures with a mix of sun and clouds transitioning to intermittent snow and flurries in the afternoon. There will be little to no snow accumulation, but watch out for slippery spots. The high will reach 26. Tonight, it will be breezy in the evening with some light snow early on, then mostly cloudy with a low of 22. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Portions of the following show may be pre-recorded.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft on AM 560. The Answer.
AM 560, The Answer. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. Chris Kroc in for Dan Proft. Dan back after the holidays, and I am having a lot of fun with you, and my mind is blown. Just as it seems to settle, it gets blown. It gets blown again with the fraud coming out of Minnesota. Now you have people showing up in Columbus, Ohio, where they're apparently maybe the exact same thing of tons and tons of Somali folk ripping us off, depending on who you ask, depending on who's on the ground. Although with the worry that, I don't just worry, but now there's people that are not Nick Shirley that are on the ground that look like they're doing the same thing. I'm not saying that the fraud isn't there at all. I'm not surprised if it's there. You look at the amount of waste with how much is spent in Minnesota versus how much is spent in California. Look at this. The difference in spending California spends, from Fox News yesterday, late last night, California spends about $7,600 per resident, with fraud scandal being looked at over there, compared to the Sunshine State, Florida, spends $5,000 per resident. Look at that difference right there. $2,600 per resident more in California versus $5,000. And I don't know about you, but I'm not hearing about people dying because they don't have access to Medicaid out of Florida. I'm hearing nothing bad regarding feeding our future, regarding funding for daycare for children, regarding Medicaid, etc. So it is fraud. There's a lot of fraud. And, wow, you watch these folks in Minnesota, holy crap. They are in overdrive, the Democrats running that state. They're in overdrive not trying to find fraud, expose it, and saying, oh, my gosh, this is new to us. We didn't know this. Oh, my gosh, this looks bad, but let us look at it first, and we'll check it out. No. They are in CYA mode. And when you're in CYA mode and not... you could approach this from their angle and say, we don't believe that's the case, but we're looking into it. They're not saying that. They're saying there is no problem here. These daycare facilities have done nothing wrong. In fact, one of the biggest things last night, as I was digging deep into this, and the well continues to be full, and every 20 minutes there's something new that is jaw-dropping in and of itself. But last night, in between the calls to have Tim Walz step down, and I mentioned yesterday to you, and kind of formulated this throughout the day as the day went on with more and more information, I don't think Tim Walz is going to make it for a full run for governor of the state of Minnesota. We talked to the great, what is the first name? It's Hinderaker. Is it John or Tom? I think it's Tom Hinderaker from Powerline Blog yesterday, who was based out of Minneapolis, St. Paul, has been doing amazing work there for 20, 30 years, exposing the left and all the stuff of the state of Minnesota. He was saying yesterday that it's hard to get a Republican to run statewide in the state of Minnesota, particularly for governor. It's not hard to get a Republican, but it's hard to get a Republican that's good. Because he thinks if they get the right candidate, not even some incredible candidate, just somebody who's good, solid Republican candidate to run against Tim Walz or whoever the DFL candidate, it's a Democrat Farmer Labor Party there. Same thing as being Democrats, dirty Democrats in the state of Illinois. If they can get a decent candidate to run against him as governor for Republicans, that Walz has a 60% chance of losing, he said. I was saying yesterday and that I don't think Tim Walz is going to make it through the entire run, his unprecedented third term. No Democrats ever run for a third term in the state of Minnesota for governor. I don't think he's going to make it because the scandal is so bad and it's growing and growing and growing and insane that he's going to have to drop out, or at some point as he's running, he's going to know it's so bad, he's going to say, you know what, and he'll make up a BS excuse. They never tell the truth. He'll say, you know what, I think it's time for somebody else to take the mantle over here. I've decided it's time for me to pack it up. I think he's going to do that before or during the race early on. So what did you have last night? In a feat of unmitigated shamelessness, you had the Minnesota Department of Children Commissioner Tiki Brown. And mind you, by the way, I could be off on the title, but the state of Minnesota, under Tim Walz's leadership a couple years back, literally in a bid to save money, fired or eliminated the position. I think it's comptroller or something of that nature, where this person was in charge of finding fraud. I don't know if it was treasurer or whatever, but it was somebody that was in charge of finding and mitigating fraud. That position, in a bid to save money by the state of Minnesota, was eliminated. Maybe 6 years ago, 3 years ago, was eliminated. So there's the brilliance of the state of Minnesota Democrat Farmer Labor Parties. They break through and patting themselves on the back, saying, "Look at how awesome we are! We just saved money. We fired the person that would be responsible for heading and eliminating fraud and exposing it in our state. Look at that money we saved." In the meantime, don't look over here at the $9 billion in Medicaid fraud. Don't look over here at the $250 million, quarter of a billion dollars in stealing money from the government, feeding our future investigation. We're feeding nobody, but charging, tens of millions of dollars for fake Somali people that we are feeding here, children that don't exist. And then, of course, the Small Business Association, Kelly Loeffler, saying that she's halting $5.5 million of annual funding because of the great amount of fraud that she sees $3 million in PPP loans, $1 billion from $1 billion. At least $3 million in PPP loans. SBA identified 13,600 additional PPP loans, totaling $430 million suspected as fraudulent. Can you say, it's like we're in Somalia sitting, do you remember Black Hawk Down? It's like we're in Somalia sitting in the back of a pickup truck with the what's the thing on the pickup truck? You pull the handle and the bed, whatever. What is that? Like a door for the bed to the truck? I'm not a truck dude. So it's like you're sitting in the back of the Toyota 4Runner, not 4Runner, Toyota Tacoma, and the back of the pickup truck, the lift gate is open, and you're sitting on the back with your legs kicking up. You're chewing on cat. K-A-T, that's that leaf they chew on that gets you high. It's like a cocaine type thing. You're chewing on cat. You got an M60 slung over your shoulder, and you're facing the back of the truck, and you're chewing your cat. You're high as a kite, and you're talking in your Somali. And then we wonder why there's massive amounts of fraud. And I think they laugh at us. They just think, well, you're the stupid one. Why aren't you fraudulently, taking all these tens of millions, hundreds of millions, and billions of dollars? And the fraud goes on and on. But going back, Minnesota Department of Corrections Commissioner Tiki Brown comes out and has Operation CYA. And she says, no, the Quality Leering Center, if you recall, we played that one ad infinitum yesterday, which they got $9 million, I believe, and nobody's there. None of these places, nobody's there. There's no kids there. There's no nothing. And by the way, earlier this year in January, where I used to work, KSDP Radio, and then in the same building as KSDP TV, Channel 5 Eyewitness News, they did literally almost the same expose story that Nick Shirley did in January. And you can watch this. I retweeted it. It's on my Twitter feed, at Chris Crock Show. That's at Chris Crock Show, X feed, whatever you want to call it. It's about a 5 or 6 minute piece, and it just blows you away. That was in January, and here's Nick Shirley doing the same thing this time. But guess what? How many people watched the Channel 5 story out of Minneapolis versus how many people watched the Nick Shirley story? Yesterday morning, he was up to 113 million views. I mean, the Channel 5 piece, even today with all the exposure, probably only got an eighth of that. It's just profound and amazing. So, anyways, Minnesota Department of Children Commissioner Tiki Brown says the Quality Leering Center closed down. No, that closed down last week. No, that's closed. Which explains why, journalist Colin Rugg says, there were no children when Nick Shirley visited. However, you're going to love this. However, today, the Quality Leering Center was packed with kids. Oh, it's open. The lady in charge of the Department of Children Commissioner said it was closed, and then last week, and then today, it's open. It's packed with kids. Wow. The New York Post was there. They said the children were trucked in. They were trucked in, with one local saying it was the first time they had seen kids go into the building. It's not funny because we're getting ripped off and we're getting bent over and taken to the cleaners, but on the same token, it's hysterical. And so journalist Colin Rugg says they need to coordinate next time before they try to cover up a crime. All right, I got to play a little bit of audio for you because this is just so great. We got a couple different things to play for you. Here it is. The Quality Leering Center is open. You're going to hear all these people from the New York Post that goes to that parking lot, and there's the Somali guys yelling at him, swearing at him. There's kids being bussed in from everywhere in real time. And then shortly thereafter, you're going to hear audio of the lady that I just mentioned, Department of Child Commissioner, saying, oh, no, that place was closed. It's closed? Well, then why are 100 kids in there barraging this little shut-down daycare facility pretending it's open?
Is there fraud going on here? No, it's a video. I just want to know. What's your response? Huh?
Get the out of here.
What's your response to the allegations? Is there fraud going on here? And is there children? That's all.
Don't harass me over here.
We are aware of a video that's being circulated that has gained local and national attention about child care centers in Minnesota. While we have questions about some of the methods that were used in the video, we do take the concerns that the video raises about fraud very seriously.
Oh, wait. Her concerns are chiefly with who was filming this? How were they filmed? That's her concern. We need to protect the third world people ripping us off.
Each of the facilities mentioned in the video has been visited at least once in the last 6 months as part of our typical licensing process. And in fact, our staff are out in the community today to visit each of these sites again so that we can look into the concerns that were raised in the video. So I won't go into any detail about whether or not any of these have any open investigations. I will share that our team was notified that Quality Learning Center...
Ma'am, it's Quality Learning Center.
Closed just over a week ago. And I believe the details that were given at that time were around space concerns.
Did you hear that? She said it was closed a week ago, the Learning Center.
And that's what was shared. The previous one I mentioned that had been closed some time ago was Mako.
Okay. Now I want to talk to you coming up next. We have several lines open on AM 560. The Answer. Chris Crockett for Dan Proft. 312-642-5600 is our number. 312-642-5600. I've got more audio to share with you coming up as well. Oh, what does Tim Walz do late last night? This guy is sweating bullets. He ain't going to make it. I'm telling you right now, he ain't going to make it. But maybe Kamala can come in and scoop him up and save him and put him on her winning ticket again. He will get the Somali vote. He will get almost every Somali American or Somali non-American vote there is. He is guaranteed to get the 1 to 150,000 Somali block vote in Minneapolis-St. Paul. Absolutely. All right, we'll get into that next. We'll also talk to Josh in Braidwood and Craig in Mount Greenwood coming up, plus your call, 312-642-5600. This is Chris Crock in for Dan Proft. He'll be back after the holidays on AM 560, The Answer.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank, a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Anthony and John here from Bionic Auto Parts, proud clients of Signature Bank. We deliver high-quality, recycled and remanufactured auto parts to Chicago and Milwaukee. Our mission is simple: provide parts safely, reliably, with great customer satisfaction.
We process over 350 vehicles a month. With big banks, everything took forever. Layers of approvals and endless delays. At Signature Bank, one call got it done. Whether it's lending, deposits, or treasury management, they deliver fast. Signature Bank made us feel like family. That's a partnership we deeply appreciate.
Signature Bank helps local businesses succeed. Want to learn how Signature Bank can help turn your business vision into reality? Call Signature Bank at 773-467-5600 or visit signaturebank.bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
A great smile can make you feel happy and confident. So when you consciously conserve your teeth, that glowing smile will show through. At Best Dental Group, doctors Economos, Gabe Alice, and their staff are ready to help you create that perfect look or maintain the one you have now. Along with general dentistry, Best Dental Group is a multidiscipline practice with an orthodontist, periodontist, and prosthetic specialists on site. They use the newest breakthroughs in dental technology such as titanium implants, Invisalign clear braces, and laser treatments. Don't let fear get in the way. They can recommend sedation to make your experience as comfortable as possible. Best Dental Group is located in historic downtown Bartlett and is a multilingual office. Call 630-830-4930, 630-830-4930, or visit bestdental.org. Best Dental Group, sharing your conservative values and helping you to conserve your teeth.
It's news, opinion, and insight at the speed of your life. Streaming at 560theanswer.com on the AM 560 mobile app, or tell your smart speaker to play The Answer Chicago.
Good morning. It is 48 degrees here in Chicago on AM 560 The Answer. I'm Stace Keene in the AM 560 newsroom. A federal jury in Chicago has convicted a man of laundering cash proceeds from a Mexico-based drug trafficking organization. Prosecutors say David Berger of Chicago and other intermediaries booked and paid for privately chartered jets for the organization to transport millions of dollars in drug proceeds into Mexico after the organization transported wholesale quantities of cocaine from Mexico to sell in the U.S. Berger's sentencing is set for May 12th of next year. Although Illinois drivers are now paying less at the pump, a state lawmaker says prices would be even lower if not for the state's high gas taxes. According to AAA, the average price for a gallon of regular gas in Illinois dipped below $3 a gallon on Friday to $2.99. That's down from $3.27 a month ago. Even with the price drop, Illinois remains the most expensive state in the Midwest for motor fuel. This report is a service of Supershore. Do you own a small business? You need to hear this. A seismic shift is coming. It's time to get Supershore. Not kind of sure, not pretty sure, not a little sure, but super sure. The seismic shift is coming. Super sure coming soon. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, but now...
Larry Elder wants facts in the argument.
It just drives me crazy whenever there is a mass shooting and the immediate call for people on the left to demand more gun control. Never, even on Fox, do you hear somebody say, well, let's also consider how often Americans use guns to save lives, themselves or others, or bodily injury. It just seems to me that should be relevant.
The Larry Elder Show, weeknights at 8, right before Sean Hannity at 10 on AM 560. The Answer.
This is Hugh Hewitt for townhall.com. America has many allies in what promises to be a decades-long Cold War 2.0 between the U.S. and its allies and the alliance of tyrants, led by China's Xi Jinping, Russia's Putin, Iran's Khamenei, and North Korea's Kim Jong-un. This quartet of dictators has some fourth-string powers allied with it in our own hemisphere, like Venezuela's Maduro and Cuba's Miguel Diaz-Canel. President Trump is in the process of securing the Western Hemisphere against this alliance of tyrants. He stated what I call the Trump Doctrine. He put it all in caps. You will be hit harder than you have ever been hit before if you in any way attack or threaten the USA, end quote. In less than 25 words, President Trump put the whole globe on notice. The key word he included in his post, threaten. As 2025 comes to a close, the GOP is united on national defense. That's a gift for everyone, whether they know it or not.
We have reached the age where things just cost more.
Cars, phones, life insurance.
Your blood pressure is up.
Your weight is up.
You're one to talk.
I have type 2 diabetes, so I'm getting dinged just like you.
Thank goodness for Big Lou.
Big Lou!
Big Lou can get term life insurance rates for a 50-year-old male with type 2 diabetes or high blood pressure, or maybe he's on anxiety meds. For just around $200 a month for $1 million of coverage.
Oh, you got to say that again.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'll say it. Big Lou and term provider could get a 50-year-old man, a little dinged up, $1 million in life insurance for around $200 a month.
Call Big Lou.
Big Lou.
He's like you.
800-555-2085. That's 800-555-2085.
Don't put it off. If you're overweight, diabetic, have high blood pressure, you gotta call Big Lou.
Gotta.
800-555-2085.
Write it down.
800-555-2085.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best.
Now, your official weather forecast.
Today will be chilly with a mix of sunshine and clouds. Later in the day, we can expect intermittent snow and flurries, but with little to no accumulation. Please be cautious of slippery spots. The high will reach 26. Tonight, it'll be breezy with some early snow, then mostly cloudy with a low of 22. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Yes, the Quality Leering Center was not open, and then all of a sudden the next day, or later in the day, they bust in a bunch of Somalian people. You're getting cussed at by being in the parking lot. For example, the New York Post was there. And all of a sudden, you get a busload of Somali adults and children suddenly showing up. By the way, in 2015, a timestamp video with investigation by the Hennepin County prosecutors, which Hennepin County is Minneapolis. They show a timestamp video from 2015 used by the county to show the fraud. These Somali parents bring their little children in. They check in and they leave with the children. They're not staying there. Some of them were given envelopes. The investigation said, the report that I was reading from 2015 and that I watched said that, in fact, they were envelopes with money. Shocker. Separately, in January, KSTP TV, Channel 5 Eyewitness News in Minneapolis, St. Paul, they went to the same, not the exact same places, perhaps, but some of the same places that Nick Shirley did in his report over the weekend. And what did they find? Graffiti spray painted around, a stupid little sign that looks like it's a daycare, and these metal industrial, like when you're in a storage facility. You know, you pull it up like a garage, or you pull it down small, you know, and there's nobody there. It looked like a scene from Michael Jackson's Beat It, some industrial underground parking garage or something. So Tim Walz comes out. He made a bold statement. And again, he's not going to make it. I don't think he's going to finish his third run for governor. I really don't. Republicans called on him to step down. You have the Education Secretary, Linda McMahon, because the incredible theft for money going towards daycare for children. You also had a group of about 3 or 4, maybe 5 Republican state senators in the state of Minnesota and 3 or 4 or 5 Republican House members in the state of Minnesota, state legislators, calling for him to resign. And I think it's going to get worse and worse little by little. But here is Tim Walz. Here is the answer. The answer to all of this fraud being exposed on Tim Walz's watch, it's white men.
Look, it's not law-abiding citizens. If that were the case, there's a lot of white men should be holding a lot of white men accountable for the crimes that they have committed.
You know, just listening to this, I, as a white man, feel guilty. You know, I just feel very guilty. I'll try to keep my head up, but it's hard.
I think for the community to maybe educate their population, because I think what you're seeing here is there's secondary victims in this, that there's providers inside the community that are then victimizing the community themselves by signing them up, because when we're going to some of these people, they're like, I had no idea I was in this program. So I think it's
so all these Somali people that are in on the theft and the scam, they're victims. They don't know. Oh, I take my child for 5 minutes. I leave. I did not know. I thought it was 5-minute daycare. I did not know.
Asking us then, you know, for every crime, which of course the majority being committed by white men, asking us to do more about that. I think it's crime in general. And I think the biggest thing on this is just making sure that we're educating the population. And again, this is 80 people or so that have been convicted in this, maybe some more in that, out of a broader ring. Medicaid fraud will stretch across all racial demographics, all ethnic groups. So I think... Well,
and his happens to be about 90% Somali, but white man crime, white man crime, white man crime, white man crime.
It's really important for us to note each community's got this in their own midst, but to blame them and say that they should have been responsible for stopping it, I think that's a pretty hard reach. I think we continue to educate folks about why they shouldn't commit crimes. You would hope that it's being taught both at home and at schools and in our society.
Educate people. See, his angle is right on, spot on. These Somali people, they don't know they're stealing. And we need to educate them. Hey, in your country, all you do is steal. And I'm so sorry that I haven't taught you this as a guilty white man. You know, when you come here, yes, you steal everything there. But here, not so much. No, not so much. No, we need to teach you this. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry I haven't taught you this.
But no, I think this idea that the Somali community is to blame for this because they didn't do more, I think that's how we got into this, and that's again, I know we're not going to lose the whole plot here. All this work that's being done, Donald Trump brought this to the attention like this is something brand new. This is not brand new, and it's been being worked on. But he made it white hot and very dangerous.
It's like he's got his hands in his pocket and he's playing pocket pinball. He doesn't know what the heck he's doing. He's jostling around here. This is great. Watching this guy. Well, I don't this and that. Oh, white guy. Oh, they don't know. We need to teach them. Oh. All right. So I love the fact that the lady in charge for Minnesota said that daycare facility's been shut down for a week. And yet on the day of, all these kids were buzzed in, and there's the New York Post getting sworn at. Well, it was closed last week, but it's open now. Oh. Well, yeah, they want to get a couple $100 million more out of us, so we're going to let them just stay open and rip us off more. And remember, it's the white man's fault. All right, let's go to Craig in Mount Greenwood. Craig, you're on AM 560. The Answer. Chris Crockett for Dan Proft. Hello, Craig.
Hey, good morning, Chris. Man, you are over that target you hit it hard. I really appreciate it. Very good. All right, here's what I got for you. You're welcome. Well, first of all, this Walz, he talks like that. Remember that little Dirtbag Durbin? That
yes.
Real, like, that monotone, blah, 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 blah. Hey, same thing when they lie. They lie in slow motion, just lying and deceiving. But here's what I pick up on all this. The leftists, like this Walz and Durbin, all the people like that, birds of a feather flock together. They're all evil and rotten. These are demonic people. They're led by demons, and that's why the lying, lying and stealing and debauchery is all their was what they do. The actual lying is their native tongue. That's all they know how to do is lie. And the way they're all circling around each other and helping each other and covering. And then look at this media. The media, which we already knew was super evil and rotten also. So, man, I'll tell you what, we are surrounded with these swamp rats and everything like that.
Well, I got to tell you, I think that Tim Walz comes at it from a I hate to use the word racist because I hate the media and the left call something racist when their job is, at least the media does this, their job is not to say what somebody said is racist or that somebody's racist. Their job is to say, critics say that is a racist thing. You know what I mean? Instead, they just pass judgment and give you an opinion about something's racist. But I think that Tim Walz is coming at this from a perspective that the Somalian people, because they have brown skin, that somehow they're stupid, and that he is superior, and they don't know any better, which is definitely coming at it from a feeling of racial superiority, where they're just too stupid to figure this out. It's not their fault. They're people of color. They're black. They're from Somalia. They're from Africa, and they just don't know any better. You heard them say it. Well, they need to be taught. What do you mean? You think they're stupid? No. Oh, okay. So what you mean is they're corrupt? No. He literally is saying that. What's the old saying? You a grown ass man. He's literally saying that grown ass man and grown ass woman coming from Somalia don't know that stealing is wrong, and that the white man steals just as much. I mean, the whole thing is just like it's this hardcore DEI leftist stuff that really comes across as I'm racially, him saying I'm racially superior, and they just don't know any better because they're racially inferior, or something of that nature. It's just wild. Let's go to Des Plaines. Russ, you are on AM 560. The Answer. Chris Crockett for Dan Proft.
We're talking about Minnesota. Forget about that. We're in Illinois. However, it's our tax dollars going to Minnesota or whatever. But how many Somalians do we have here? I don't know. Maybe there's a few. I don't know. Whatever. And then Pritzker with the progressive movement with the illegals is the same differential. But what's it all about? It's a money scam.
Yes, it's a money scam, and then you excuse it away by saying they don't know what they're doing because they're really, the left is saying they don't know what they're doing because they're racially inferior and they're just too stupid to know that what they're doing is wrong.
Well, they're so stupid they don't know how to fucking think these.
All right, let's go to Jim, and you are in LaGrange. Jim, you're on AM 560. The Answer, Chris Crock in for Dan Proft. Hello.
Chris, my fellow Leatherneck. What's up, brother?
All right, we got a WIU Leatherneck. Yeah, baby. What year? What year?
Man, Chris
yes.
Crock. I love it.
Yes. What year did I was all over the radio, TV, and everything. Woo! Preaching back in 1995. What year did you graduate from WIU?
86. Yeah, and I think we talked last week.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I wasn't in a dorm. We were in these condos on the west side.
That's right. And I was in Higgins Hall. You know, I just read yesterday.
You look like a Thompson man to me.
No, I was not in Thompson or what's the other one, Wetzel Hall or something. I don't even know. Anyways, okay, check it out. I read the other day that we're so bankrupt that when you and I went to Western Illinois University, it was 13,000 students, and now they're like 8,000. Yeah. I went back in 2016 to get this cool award from the school. My wife and kids and I, and it was hard to see all these places shut down there. But that's the corrupt state of Illinois.
Super
bankrupt.
sad, man. Yeah, I mean, 14,000 kids went there every year. If you remember, the quantity of students outnumbered the community.
Yes.
And that freaked people out because they were like, there's this influx of foreigners coming in every year.
We're from Somalia.
14,000 of them descending on it. Hey, listen, I wanted to talk, and it's not been talked about a lot, but if you could look into the autism scam thing a little bit more, I think that would be great because that's not really talked about too much. But if I'm not mistaken, the state of Minnesota exponentially jacked up the rate for autism nationally. Like they qualified that 4 out of every 10 students had autism, which is absolutely insane, and people were getting rich off that. Now, that involves doctors and insurance companies and other entities as well. So that's kind of absolutely nuts. So I'm driving right now. I didn't do a lot of research on it, but I hope you chat about it a little bit. You got some numbers, man.
I will expound upon that, my fellow Leatherneck brother, man. Appreciate your call. So, no, that is absolutely true. Nick Shirley went to a lot of these supposed autism care facilities, and people looked at him like he had a you-know-what growing on his forehead. They're like, what? You're here for... Well, and they literally... I watched a video last night. There's so many of these things because his video was 42 minutes long. So I'm watching pieces of it. And he was at one of these autism places, and they looked at him like he had a third appendage growing out of his forehead or a third eye. And they're like, you're here, and little Joey has autism, and you want him to go here? You hear it's a great school? There's a dude standing there, some Somali guy, and then behind him, 20 feet back, is some lady in her hijab going, what's going on here? No, we close. No, we close. No, with your autism, no, not today, no, not today, we close. Get out. What do you mean? This is an autism school. You're getting millions of dollars. Get out of here. Are you here to pick up a check for your fraudulent kid who supposedly has autism? Get out of here. One of my favorite videos from yesterday was, I played it for you. Some lady screaming in Somalia, whatever I don't know what the language is, Somalia. Anyways, she's screaming at him. I think it's this one here. This is at the Quality Leering Center. Here we go.
Here in Minnesota, massive fraud is taking place within the government and the Somali population. Here, this building alone, Quality Learning Center, is a daycare, yet they spelled learning wrong, and they said leering. This daycare alone in 2025 has received $1.9 million from the government. And the strange things about these childcare centers is there's no one here right now. It's midday on a weekday. If you were to try to go inside, it's completely closed and the windows are all blacked out. No one's working.
By the way, at the Quality Leering Center, and they kind of are a leering center, they leer at you when you show up there and go, are you open? They're leering at you. What do you mean, are we open? We're here for fraud. Get out. Anyways, the Quality Leering Center yesterday claimed literally contrary to what the lady in charge of the state that was in charge of this said yesterday. They're closed. And he said, no, we're open. And he says, what do you mean? You come here 11 o'clock, we're not open. We open 2 o'clock to 10 p.m. They literally said that yesterday, 2 p.m., 10 p.m. Because who doesn't want childcare from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m.? Yes, that's what the demand is. Yes. Maybe they're on Somali time. Hold on. This is the one I think where the lady's yelling at him in Somali.
Hello, we'd like to ask where the money's going. What do you guys think about the fraud that's taking place here in Minnesota?
I don't think anybody is enabling fraud to happen.
Hold Governor Walz accountable for this.
What was this money spent on?
That's it right there.
1.26.
What the hell did she just say? Oh my gosh. Okay, I'll tell you what, coming up, lots of people to talk to. Phil in Merrillville. We got Al in Rosemont by O'Hare, where my folks are staying right now, visiting in town there while I'm sitting in DFW. Bill on the northwest side, Bob, Buffalo Grove. All you guys are next. Stand by, right back to you. Coming up as we continue to explore the depths of Minnesota fraud and excuses for massive industrial-scale theft. DHS, Homeland Security, HSI, all these people are on the ground now. They have surged dozens and more than dozens. I think it's, I don't know, man, 30, 60, 80, 90, 100 some odd people. And they canvassed 30 or 40 places yesterday alone. They're gathering, they're asking for 2 months of attendance records. And then they're going to investigate to see who's lying, who's telling the truth. This is good. This is really incredible. If this was Joe Biden, nothing would be reported, nothing would be said. No big deal, it would be laughed off and excused away, and the fraud would continue with big smiles on everybody's faces. Your call coming up next as well. AM 560 The Answer. Chris Crockett for Dan Proft. If you want to follow me on social media, it's at Chris Crock Show, ChrisKrock on X, Facebook, Instagram, at Chris Crock Show. Also, the podcast is daily, and that is on Rumble and YouTube at Crock Talk, KROKTALK. It's AM 560 The Answer.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
At AlmostFreeTeeth.com, they're dedicated to making smiles great again. If you have medical PPO insurance, find out how you could save 90% off on average to get a beautiful dental implant-supported smile. Check if you qualify right now at AlmostFreeTeeth.com.
Ready for some holiday magic? Pack up the family and cruise over to Go-Bird's Farm in Pingree Grove, where 2 incredible Christmas light shows are waiting to light up your night. First up, the Go-Bird's Christmas Drive-Thru Light Show. We're talking millions of lights synchronized to music that'll have you cranking up the volume. Picture this, dancing penguins getting their groove on, snowflakes cascading all around you, reindeer galloping through enchanted fields, plus a dazzling tunnel of lights that's pure Christmas magic. But wait, there's more. The legendary Larson Christmas Light Show, the one everyone's been raving about from Campton Hills, is now right here on the Go-Birds property. 30 minutes of jaw-dropping lights, spectacular special effects, and surprise character visits that'll make the kids lose their minds with excitement. Here's the best part. You can experience both shows in one epic night. Perfect for families, couples, or even your company party bus. Because yes, limos and party buses are totally welcome. Per vehicle pricing keeps it affordable, but grab your tickets online now because these shows are selling fast. Visit GoBirds.com for tickets, times, and all the details. Go-Birds Farm, where Christmas dreams come to life.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband Ryan died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ETHOS.com/term.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
This past year has been one of the hardest in MyPillow's history. It's because of you that they are making it through. They want to thank you for your continued support by passing on some Christmas specials to our listeners. Get the Children's Bible Story Pillow 5-pack for $29.98. My Slippers with a free bottle of leather protectant spray for $39.98. Blankets, comforters, and duvets for as low as $25, and a blowout sale on the standard MyPillows for just $14.98. So go to MyPillow.com or call 800-489-0201 and use promo code LIBERTY to take advantage of these wholesale prices, including the standard size MyPillow, originally $49.98, now only $14.98. Queens $18.99. Kings only $1 more. 800-489-0201 and use promo code LIBERTY. We know MyPillow products come with a 10-year warranty, but MyPillow has just announced that they are extending their 60-day money-back guarantee. That's right. Orders placed between now and December 25th will have their 60-day money-back guarantee extended through March 1st, 2026. Promo code LIBERTY.
Hello, this is Alistair Begg. In September of 2026, I'll be teaching the Bible as we cruise through the Norwegian fjords. I'd love for you to join me. Call 855-565-5519 or visit deeperfaithcruise.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
The Somali fraud, how much fun we're having this morning, I have to tell you. Unfortunately, they're ripping us off, but we might as well laugh at these corrupt bleepity bleeps. Let's go first to Al in Rosemont. Al, you're on AM 560, The Answer. Hold on one second. I pushed one button wrong, one button right. Hold on one second, guys. All right, let me see if I... Okay, good. So let's see. Phil, stand by. We're going to go to you next. You're both on, so just pretend like nobody's on here. Al, you go first. You're on AM 560, The Answer. Chris in for Dan. Hello. Al, you there?
Nothing to see here. Can you hear me?
Yes. Everybody click, click, click. Nothing to see here.
Nothing to see here. Everybody go home. That's my impression. But
yes.
There's a new scam in Illinois. As of January the 1st, you will be able to donate an organ and your company will pay for your time off. So I say, how about I just sell my kidney for $15,000,
yes,
sit at home for 6 months, come back on limited duty, and then get hurt and do workers' comp for 2 years.
I love it. Al, can I join you? You and I could be like sitting together. We'll like share an apartment, and we'll be like the odd couple, and we'll sit around eating popcorn and watching TV and laughing and fighting. You know what I mean? Let's do that. What do you say?
That's a good retirement plan.
I love it, brother.
Retirement after that.
And you sound like a lot of fun. I'm in. I'll see you tomorrow. Let's go apartment shopping tomorrow, okay? All right. I was just reading in the paper or whatever it was. I think it was the Trib or the Sun-Times. A knife was put through my heart when I read that Chibouix, the White Eagle, in Niles on Milwaukee Avenue, where I went as a kid and as a young adult for years and years and years with my Polish families and to events and everything, that Chibouix, the White Eagle, has been purchased, and they're blowing up my beloved childhood and adolescent place where me and my Polish relatives would go for weddings and everything. I am so PO'd and hurt by that. I am not happy about that. I'll tell you what, this is WIND Chicago. That too.
Another boat blown up off Venezuela's coast. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. It was in the Eastern Pacific, the 30th strike in the U.S. military operation that started in September, targeting illegal drug trafficking. 2 more alleged narco-terrorists killed, bringing the total number to 107. And we're learning more about the U.S. attack on land in Venezuela. We were first told about Friday.
The target was a dock area in Venezuela where President Trump alleges drugs are loaded onto boats.
We hit all the boats, and now we hit the area. It's the implementation area. That's where they implement. And that is no longer around.
Speaking with reporters at Mar-a-Lago, the president would not offer details on the strike or say if it was carried out by the military or the CIA.
That's Fox's Jared Halpern. The president said all that before meeting at his Florida resort with Israel's prime minister, discussing the next phase of the Gaza ceasefire that stopped the war with Benjamin Netanyahu.
The president is also continuing his tough talk against Hamas.
If they don't disarm, as they agreed to do, they agreed to it, and then they'll be held to pay.
President Trump is also not ruling out more military action against Iran. Netanyahu is reportedly concerned Iran may be ramping up production of its ballistic missile program.
That's Fox's Madeline Rivera. After the president's meeting with Ukraine's leader at Mar-a-Lago Sunday, Volodymyr Zelensky talked to Fox's Brett Baer, saying he's agreed to 90% of the U.S. brokered peace plan aiming to stop Russia's war, but one big sticking point, who gets what territory. Zelensky tells Special Report they can't give up land.
People live there. 300,000 people live there. We can't lose just people. We can't go out because 100,000 have been wounded. Dozens of them been killed there.
China still playing war games near Taiwan with military drills around the island. It claims as its own territory. A second day with ships and jets and troops doing live fire drills. A Chinese statement says they want to prevent anything that tries to split Taiwan from them after a recent U.S. arms sale to the island nation. America's listening to Fox News.
Good morning, 12 degrees in Chicago and AM 560 The Answer. I'm John Cruz in the Air Ride Heating and Cooling newsroom. Partly cloudy skies will give way to more snow later today, highs in the mid-20s. Illinois Congressman Mike Quigley may run for mayor of Chicago in 2027. The Daily Herald reports the lawmaker has so far raised $54,000 for a possible campaign for City Hall. Quigley, who lives in Chicago's Lakeview neighborhood, still running for re-election in the 5th District of Illinois. The incumbent U.S. rep is facing 4 challengers in the March primary. Meanwhile, Quigley isn't the only one considering a run to unseat Mayor Brandon Johnson. Cook County Treasurer Maria Pappas and entrepreneur Joe Holberg have announced plans to enter that race. Police searching for 2 Chicago sisters, last seen Christmas Eve. They were recently spotted in the 9200 block of South Dauphin Avenue. Authorities believe that 17-year-old Amaya Clark and her 15-year-old sibling Ayana were on their way to west suburban Naperville. 3 people, including 2 Chicago police officers, hurt in a crash involving a stolen vehicle on the northwest side. The collision happened early Monday morning in the 3000 block of North Racine Avenue. Police say a squad car was going south on Racine when a Hyundai Elantra went through a stop sign and crashed into the police vehicle. Now, 2 officers are in the hospital with serious injuries. The driver of the Hyundai taken to a hospital in critical condition and placed in custody. Charges are pending. And the Chicago Board of Education raising property taxes to help ease some financial burden. Board member Debbie Pope said the tax hike is minimal.
This tax levy is a very minimal amount. Someone with a $500,000 home is going to be paying what they would pay for going out for fast food once.
The school board voted yesterday to slightly increase its property tax levy. The move expected to result in an additional $20 to $25 million for the district. They support a service of Air Ride Heating and Cooling, offering AM 560 listeners $56 off any service, including inspections, or take advantage of limited-time federal rebates on a new furnace. Visit Air Ride Heating and Cooling today at AIR-RITE.com. Again, that's AIR-RITE.com. A check of your roads coming up in 2 minutes on AM 560 The Answer.
Mike Gallagher stands up to the bullies.
I think this boils down to recognizing the actual evil that we're facing. It is absolute evil to attack Erica Kirk. There's no gray area here. You want to sit around and attack a grieving widow who just months ago lost her husband. You're rotten to the core. Your soul is gone.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9 on AM 560. The Answer.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-393-1881. That's 800-393-1881. 800-393-1881.
Every so often in medicine, something comes along that is truly revolutionary.
Dr. Mitchell Scheinkup, former orthopedic surgeon, now National Medical Director at QC Kinetics.
I believe this is one of those things.
Dr. Scheinkup is talking about regenerative medicine, something he's practiced, researched, and written about for nearly 2 decades.
The old ways of dealing with joint pain, such as steroids and surgery, are no longer the best ways.
If you have pain from arthritis or injury, you owe it to yourself to learn more about this exciting option, using your own body's natural power to get lasting relief. And there's no better place to learn than QC Kinetics.
There is no one in this country today with more clinics, more satisfied patients, more advanced protocols, or more experience in using this exciting option to deliver life-changing results.
Call QC QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics 312-827-6261. That's 312-827-6261. 312-827-6261.
Taking a look at the roads from the Team Hochberg Traffic Center, I'm Sue Aller. Good morning, and we're off to a good start on the Eden. No delays inbound from Lake Cook to Montrose, 15 minutes. Outbound is 13. The Kennedy also looks good. Inbound from O'Hare to the Byrne Interchange, 17 minutes. Outbound is 21. 13 minutes both ways on the Eisenhower from Wolf to the Old Post Office, and 17 minutes inbound on the Stevenson from the Tri-State to Lakeshore. Outbound is 16. The Dan Ryan also looks good from 95th to the Byrne Interchange, 12 minutes. Outbound is 11. And in downtown on Franklin Street, that is shut down between Lake Street and Wacker Drive, setting up for tonight's New Year's Eve celebration. This report is a service of AlmostFreeTeeth.com. Big savings on full mouth dental implants are here at AlmostFreeTeeth.com. Medical insurance can make what used to cost a fortune surprisingly affordable. Don't wait. Take the 60-second quiz to see if you qualify at AlmostFreeTeeth.com. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, but now a check of your forecast from the National Weather Service.
Today will be chilly with a mix of sunshine and clouds. Later in the day, we can expect intermittent snow and flurries, but with little to no accumulation. Please be cautious of slippery spots. The high will reach 26. Tonight, it will be breezy with some early snow, then mostly cloudy with a low of 22. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft on AM 560. The Answer.
Fraud, fraud, fraud. It is raining everywhere. I didn't say frog. I didn't say it's raining frog. It is raining fraud. DHS has tons of people on the ground as of yesterday afternoon. And they are going door to door, daycare to daycare, and they are demanding. They're investigating. They're pulling two months of records from every daycare facility, autism facility, every place you can think of. Meanwhile, Tim Walz, I played a little earlier on the show, is saying that the Somali people are too stupid to know. He didn't say it that way, but he basically does. In his leftist way, that, they're too stupid to know. They need to be taught. They need to be taught that fraud and stealing is bad. And then he says, of course, white man crime. Here's a little bit of that. White man crime. That's what the real problem is over here. There's Tim Walz.
Look, it's not law-abiding citizens. If that were the case, there's a lot of white men should be holding a lot of white men accountable for the crimes that they have committed. I think for the community to maybe educate their population, because I think what you're seeing here is there's...
Educate the population. This is fraud. Can you say fraud? Fraud.
Secondary victims in this, that there's providers inside the community that are then victimizing the community themselves by signing them up, because when we're going to some of these people, they're like, I had no idea I was in this program.
Yeah, they don't know they're victims. For example, a video that was, everything's popping up now all over the place. 2015 Hennepin County investigators, which is Minneapolis, investigators, recorded people coming in, dropping or signing their kid up at the daycare facility for the day, and then leaving with their children a few minutes later. And sometimes they're handed envelopes with cash in it. But they didn't know. I mean, they need to be taught. They're being victimized. It's like they have a gun to their head saying, okay, drive to this facility, check in your kid, then leave with your kid because you're not leaving them there, and then here's your envelope of money. They're victimized. The real crime is white man crime. That's through the eyes of DEI. But Tim Walz is not going to. He's not going to last. We talked to John Hinderaker yesterday from Powerline blog out of Minneapolis, St. Paul, and he said if it's hard to get a statewide or gubernatorial candidate that's good for a Republican in Minnesota, but if they get a decent one, he give him a 60% chance of he or she a 60% chance of winning. And I think Tim Walz is going to bow out. Nobody's ever run for a third term in Minnesota's governor. I think he's going to bow out before that happens. Maybe while he's running. This is just too much, and it's going to get worse and worse and worse. And they're doing a kabuki theater dance around all this, pretending like it's not really happening. I swear to you, you know how it's sometimes so obvious, and it's so obvious that it can't be true, and that maybe this kabuki theater, this dance, pretending everything's fine, dancing around the elephant in the room, and then you go, wait, no, because it all comes out. And it's like, it's so totally too good to be true. It's totally happening. It's totally obvious, and it's totally happening. And these people literally didn't do anything. They ignored it. They excused it because they were afraid of being called racist. And number two, the Somali voting bloc is 100 to 150,000 people. Can you imagine getting a margin of 100 to 150,000 in a state that has about, I checked the numbers yesterday, I think it was 5.8 million, roughly. Can you imagine if you're running statewide, having 1 to 150,000 voting block automatically yours? I think it's even more of a big deal if you are running for office in Hennepin County or Ramsey County, which is St. Paul, the Minneapolis-St. Paul. I did a talk show there for a couple of years in the early 2000s. I enjoyed my time there a lot. All right, let's go to your call. A couple lines open at 312-642-5600, 312-642-5600. And let's see here. Let's go to the northwest side. Bill, you are on AM 560 The Answer. Chris Crock and Dan Props. Hello, Bill.
Hello, Chris. Yeah, the way we stop this corruption, here's what needs to happen. We need to see indictments. We need to see trials. We need to see convictions. And we need to see people going to jail. That's the bottom line. Until that happens, I mean, this is wonderful that we're talking about this, but we need to see action. We need to see people going to jail. That's how we stop it.
Yes, and there have been previously with this. Do you have? I swear to you, I have no confidence that this is going to be stomped out, other than the people who get cuffed and stuffed. And I agree with you. That's what needs to happen. I think that it's like cockroaches, that people that are committing this massive theft, whether it's because they're from a country where this is their absolutely the normal thing, it's abnormal to not steal and not be corrupt. I think cockroaches will scatter, and as people are locked up and thrown in jail, but the cockroaches will come back when there's some crumbs on the ground again. I just feel that's going to be one of these things that is going to have to people keep being prosecuted over and over again, put in jail until eventually people go, well, let's see. Everybody that I know or knew of or secondhand, they're all in jail because they've stolen. And there are some people that are good. I think I played yesterday for you a man from Somalia who told, in fact, I should have it here on my repertoire of audio to play for you. There is a Somali man who actually exposed the truth, and then when he went to, he was getting harassed, etc., and then when he went to Somalia, either to visit or to flee, people were there in Africa, in Somalia, and they beat the living hell out of the guy because they were waiting for him to show up. They heard from the relatives or friends or whatever back home that he was coming back. Here it is right here. This is Abdi Osman Nur, and he did the right thing.
All of a sudden there was a boom, and people were buying very expensive homes and posting about those homes.
Where was all the money coming from?
Everybody knew, but nobody had the courage to speak about it because they understood the repercussions. So I decided to speak out.
Afraid of repercussions for speaking out in the Twin Cities, Abdi went on a trip to Africa early this year. When he got there, he says he was attacked and pepper sprayed for information he put online regarding feeding our future.
So this is a culture where, and this is a third world culture. This is a third world culture where when you actually do the right thing, you're attacked, threatened. Because that's what you do in third world country when you're the one exposing the corruption. There are good people in the community, but they face tremendous threats and attacks for doing the right thing. That's what happens when you import a third world country. Let's go to Bob in Buffalo Grove. Bob, you're on AM 560 The Answer. Chris in for Dan. Hello.
Thanks for taking my call. I know they're not in power right now, but we need a Democratic committee hearing on this issue with the fraud in Minneapolis or Minnesota. Let me propose that Ilhan Omar ought to be chair of the committee, and also with Rashida Tlaib.
Yes.
And a few others of those really smart Democrats like Crockett, AOC. I think they really need to look into this issue.
These are the stars in the Democrat Party, and they will be able to dig and expose this. They're extraordinarily interested in exposing third world corruption in the reliable Democrat voting bloc. Absolutely. Spot on, sir. Appreciate your call.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was great. All right. We have some other things happening today that are just crazy. I'm sure you caught, in fact, it's in the news here on AM 560, The Answer, that the Chicago Public Schools, the school board, voted in a sneak tax last night. Now, if you follow the right folks in our news, locally in Chicagoland, you will see that this literally was a rope-a-dope or a sneak attack. They didn't know the exact amount they could tax on homes in Chicago for Chicago Public Schools. They were waiting for, I think it was the assessment coming in. And then once it came in, they go, oh, we actually could raise the property tax on people's homes in Chicago even more. There's actually some, to be within the law, we can do an additional $25 to $30 million. Look at this. We didn't know how far we could do the tax. The assessment came in. You know how there were the school board messed up so much. There was people all over the state, I believe it was, right? It was the state of Illinois literally messed up. And you had all these taxes, all these school districts. I remember reading, I think Palatine was talking about, like, every school district borrowed tens of millions or more of dollars while they were waiting to find out what the exact amount they could assess or something of that nature for school board taxes. And so Chicago knew it could get away with a certain amount without having to give it back, right? Like the limit that you're allowed to do under the state law. And then they found out, oh, no, there's more. So then they said, oh, let's do a sneaky board meeting. Seriously, this is the description from Fox 32. They did a great job on this report, which I'll share with you in a sec. They said, let's do a sneaky. In fact, WFLD Channel 32 said this: Chicago Board of Education quietly votes to raise property taxes. Shh. We're going to get the taxpayers in Chicago. When they bend over to pick up the laundry off the floor, we're going to get them. Shh. Here we go. WFLD Fox 32. The Chicago Board of Education quietly votes to raise property taxes. The board voted for the maximum amount under state law that's allowed, which will raise the taxes $25 million. CPS has typically voted to increase taxes to the limit every year. You know, I was thinking, how about you surprise us one year and you don't raise the taxes on our property taxes? You don't raise it to the fullest amount. Surprise us! Hey, we could raise the taxes with the new amounts we got here. We could raise your taxes in total $25 million. But, you know, we're going to surprise you. And we're going to do $20 million. We're going to do $18 million. No. This year, listen to how WFLD describes it. This year, however, it was shrouded in mystery. As board president Sean Harden listen to this, rope-a-dope. He first canceled the vote at the meeting early this month. The school district, Channel 32 says, is banking on this money to help balance its budget in addition to what is expected to be a record amount of TIF surplus money. all they're doing is running a massive vacuum cleaner. It's like they're the Somalis in Minneapolis. They're soaking up every single dollar from us that they can. Now listen to this. You have got these hardcore tax the crap out of us. The more I can take from your pocket as a Chicago public schools taxpayer, the more I can take from your pocket, extract out of you, the better it is for the children. We're doing this for the children, and the more money we have, the better education we have. Every time we can get another dime out of you, we're going to do it because that's how you have good education. Listen to these absolute mopes, these fools. Let's start with Jennifer Custer. She's a board member. Listen to this. Shamelessly saying this out loud. It's unbelievable. Listen to this.
The next place to go are cuts that directly affect kids, and an extra $29 million just to cushion that blow would be really helpful for those services.
But it gets worse. Here is CPS board member Norma. I want to make sure I say this right. Rios Sierra, por favor.
We are not in a position to say no to money. We have charter schools closing left and right. We have federal funding that's being taken away. We have to do what's right for our students.
We are not. This is the one that was the most audacious one. We are not in a position to say no to money. We are not in a position to say no to money. In other words, it's like the Somali theft. I have opportunity to steal. I have opportunity to take. I take. What do you think? I'm stupid? I take the money. We are not in a position to say no to money. She literally is like looking at you as somebody who's a taxpayer in the city of Chicago for Chicago Public Schools, and she's looking at you and saying, I'm not in a position to stop taking your money. Yes, but I don't want to give you more money. I can't afford more. You're bankrupting me. Well, look, I have a chance to take more money from you. I'd like her to say it directly to our faces. One-on-one. I'm just in a position right now where I can take more money for you, and I'm not in a position to say no to that.
We are not in a position to say no to money. We have charter schools closing left and right. We have federal funding that's being taken away. We have to do what's right for our students.
Will you ever be in a position to not take our money? And I'm going to ask you this too, truthfully. Have you ever heard any of these folks, and some of these people on the Chicago Board of Education are actually on our side. There's a list of about, I think, 5 board members who voted against milking us for every dime they could get out of us. And I got the list in here. I'll share it with you. But have you ever heard the ones who always vote no? Have you ever heard them say, you know what, I'm in a position to say I don't need your money? Have you ever heard that before from them? That's why I said earlier, surprise me. Say, you know what, we can take more of your money, but we're not going to do it this time. Here is board member, let's see which one this is. This is board member Deborah Pope. More of this logic.
This tax levy is a very minimal amount. Someone with a $500,000 home is going to be paying what they would pay for going out for fast food once.
Okay, so they literally take and take and take and take from you. Now they have an opportunity to take more from you, but it's only going to be, if you have a $500,000 house, $16 more in your house. If you have a $500,000 house, I think it's like 32, something like that. So she's like, look, we're going to take more, but you can afford this. This is a little bit more. When you've beaten us down, when you've taken more and more and more and more, and that's all you do, saying that it's just a little bit more is it's just unbelievable. It's like you've kicked us to the ground, you've robbed us, you've beaten us, and now you're like, you know what, I can take a little bit more from you, so I'm going to do it. It's not that much more. It's not, compared to what I've done to you, it's not much more. And you're saying, I have almost nothing left. Doesn't matter. 312-642-5600 is our number, 312-642-5600. But that's my favorite angle coming at it from WFOD Channel 32. Chicago Board of Education quietly votes to raise property taxes. They voted for the maximum amount allowed under state law. A moderate group called, a not-profit group called Urban Center, moderate non-profit group is how Channel 32 couches them. Quote, their quiet action today at a board meeting few knew about during the holiday season and conveniently after the mayor's failed budget despite his claims of protecting Chicagoans from property tax increases only serves to demonstrate board members' contempt for taxpayers. That's exactly right. Who continuously foot the bill to pay for the demands of the Chicago Teachers Union, a Johnson ally. To make matters stranger, Fox Chicago was told by multiple sources on Monday. Board President Hardin, listen to this, called members into group meetings to complain about leaks to the media, namely Fox Chicago's Paris Schutz, who had revealed that this meeting, a public meeting, was scheduled and would take place. They were mad that somebody leaked that they were going to have a meeting that they wanted to be secret, which they can't do. Fox Chicago learned that Hardin vowed to force the resignation of any board member he discovered leaking this information that we are supposed to know. To which I wrote, as I was reading through all this last night, highlighting it, writing my little note, dirt bags. Dirt bags. Now, there are some people in this that are not dirt bags, as I mentioned, that voted against a property tax increase. Tony in Roselle, you're on AM 560 The Answer. Chris Crock and for Dan Proft. Hi, Tony.
Good morning, everybody. You know, even now with that last comment about forcing the resignation, it's more and more like the mafia. This is like Goodfellas, where Ray Liotta said, F you, pay me. You've got high taxes. You can't go out to dinner. You got to do this. You got to do that. You got to suffer and sacrifice. F you, pay me. It's like the mafia in this town.
It's unbelievable, isn't it? I mean, their logic, what they say, it's like they have no shame. We can get a little bit more from you, and we will always say, whenever there's more we can get from you, of course we're going to say more. We always need more from you.
They have a duty to have public meetings, and for them to strong-arm somebody to keep that meeting a secret from the public is appalling. And not enough people are angry in this town. And you know what? They're going to keep getting what they're getting.
I appreciate your call, my friend. Thank you very much. Susana A. Mendoza, Illinois Comptroller, put this out last night. Property taxes are insanely high. Now, thanks to Mayor Johnson and Chicago Teachers Union Local 1, they will be even higher. While the majority of our CPS students can't read, write, or do math at grade level, 8+ million. And by the way, this is what I really wanted to say, too. You know, somebody's got to pay for that trip to the Egyptian pyramids where you're riding on camels, the hot air balloon trips. Somebody's got to pay for this, and that's you. And if we can just get more from you by maximizing what we can take from you Chicago public schools, the biggest item on your property taxes. If we can do that, we need to do that. She writes that. Susan A. Mendoza, Illinois Comptroller, writes, $8 million in taxpayer dollars wasted on hot air balloon rides, camel rides, and African safaris. Shameful. Remember this when they tell you it's for the kids. It's not. I prefer to say it's for the cheerin'. The cheerin'. Right? Here's what we got coming up next. We have... Oh, here we go. Oh, this is a great one. What to know before heading downtown Chicago for New Year's Eve celebrations. You know that Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve, even though he's been gone, you know, Dick Clark passed away a long time ago. I interviewed him way back when, before he passed away. But Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve is actually going to have live coverage of our New Year's Eve celebrations in Chicago. And this is great. Listening to Brandon Johnson, or as Dan calls him, BLM Brandon, listening to Superintendent Snelling and all these different people, and they're like, okay, for the parents who of thug children, okay, for thugs and thugettes, listen closely. Parents, listen. Oh, we're going to talk about this coming up next. This is going to be fun. It's Chris Crock in for Dan Proft on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer.
Your show keeps me alive during the week. There's nobody I'd rather listen to between 5 and 9 in the morning than you guys.
On AM 560, The Answer.
Let's go!
Don't get stuck with the cold shower this winter. Give CenterGuard Plumbing a call. Get a new 40-gallon water heater installed for just $1,195 for standard installation, or a 50-gallon heater for $1,295 standard installation. A proud new sponsor of AM 560, CenterGuard is offering specials on new water heaters. Old man winter is here. Don't get stuck in the cold, and the same can happen to your water heater. If you're having hot water issues or your water heater's over 8 years old, take advantage of this winter special today. CenterGuard Plumbing is Chicagoland's same-day water heater experts. Call before noon and they can schedule your repair or install the same day on in-stock water heaters. They'll even haul away your old one, no charge. You're only a text away from install today. Call 847-406-8883. Mention AM 560 to receive winter special pricing. That's 847-406-8883. Call or text 847-406-8883 or visit CenterGuardPlumbing.com.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-555-2085. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-555-2085. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-555-2085. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-555-2085 or biglou.com.
It's news, opinion, and insight at the speed of your life. Streaming at 560theanswer.com on the AM 560 mobile app, or tell your smart speaker to play The Answer Chicago.
Good morning, 12 degrees in Chicago on AM 560 The Answer. I'm John Cruz in the Air Ride Heating and Cooling newsroom. Partly cloudy for now. Snow showers will continue this afternoon. Highs today, the mid-20s. Federal agency, they're going door-to-door in Minnesota now, investigating what officials say is rampant fraud that could total more than $1 billion in taxpayer money. The sweeping investigation is targeting dozens of suspected fraudulent businesses accused of misusing public money that was meant to support social services, including everything from school lunches to housing assistance. The CPS board voting for a property tax hike to help combat a budget deficit next year. It's a small amount, but some board members say any amount is still too much during a time when residents' property taxes have gone way up. CPS allowed to raise the rate. Monday's vote was to raise it to the legal limit. And Bears apparel flying off the shelves ever since they won the NFC North Division over the weekend. Clark Street Sports co-owner Jason Karev says merchandise sales have jumped about 41% compared to last year. This report is a service of Air Ride Heating and Cooling, offering AM 560 listeners $56 off any service, including inspections, or take advantage of limited-time federal rebates on a new furnace. Visit Air Ride Heating and Cooling today at AIR-RITE.com. Again, that's AIR-RITE.com. A check of your roads coming up in 2 minutes on AM 560 The Answer.
Scott Jennings sees the left admitting failure.
Big story in the New York Times. Headline, How Biden Ignored Warnings and Lost Americans' Faith on Immigration and Helped Return Donald Trump to the White House. It's amazing to see even the New York Times admitting the failures of Joe Biden on immigration, even though it's a little too late to do anything about it now.
The Scott Jennings Show. Weekdays at 1, right before Hugh Hewitt at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
You know what really keeps me up at night? It's the criminals feel more and more bold. They have no fear of any consequences because there are none. So I did what anyone with a family should do. I called Goldilocks. They're not just some cookie-cutter security company. Goldilocks has been protecting Chicagoland homes and businesses for 4 decades, 40 years. And they actually listen. Their technician comes out to the house. He takes a look at what you need to make your house a smart home with a security system you can monitor from anywhere. It's built specifically for me and my family. Motion sensors, smart locks, cameras, monitoring, all customized. I don't trust anybody in Illinois to protect my family. I do it, and I did it by calling Goldilocks. I trust Goldilocks to keep my house, my property, and my family safe. Tell them Sean Thompson sent you, and Goldilocks will include 3 months free monitoring with any new installation. Call Goldilocks at 708-899-5600. That's 708-899-5600. Or visit them online at GoldilocksInc.com.
I can't believe how much better Dad's doing since we brought on Senior Helpers of Naperville Southwest.
I know. He's more engaged, more himself. It makes such a difference having him right here at home. Around the photos, his old record player, his favorite recliner, all the little things he knows. That familiarity really matters with dementia.
And their caregivers, they're just incredible. They treat him with so much patience and respect.
Plus, they helped us tap into a Medicare program that offers 80 hours of respite care for Alzheimer's and dementia.
We're not worried anymore, and Dad gets to stay where he's happiest, at home.
Trust the caregivers at Senior Helpers of Naperville Southwest. Serving Cook, DuPage, Kane, Kendall, and Will counties. They have no hourly minimums, and you can call them 24/7 at 331-281-0728. Again, that's 331-281-0728. And tell them AM 560 sent you. Senior Helpers of Naperville Southwest. Senior care, only better.
At Audion Hearing, our mission is simple: to make better hearing affordable for everyone. We're proud to offer high-quality, rechargeable hearing aids starting at just $98. Clear, comfortable, and ready to use right out of the box. And here's a study worth hearing. Research shows that wearing hearing aids can reduce your risk of dementia by up to 61%. Join over 1 million happy customers and hear the difference today by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband Ryan died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ETHOS.com/term.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Eggland's Best. The only eggs with more fresh and delicious taste, plus superior nutrition. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Taking a look at the roads from the Team Hochberg Traffic Center, I'm Sue Aller. Looking good out there. Inbound Eden from Lake Cook to Montrose, 15 minutes. Outbound is 13. Vic Kennedy, no delays inbound from O'Hare to the Burn Interchange, 17 minutes. Outbound is 21. 13 minutes both ways on the Eisenhower from Wolf to the old post office. Inbound Stevenson from the Tri-State to Lakeshore, 16 minutes. Outbound is 15. The Dan Ryan is in great shape from 95th to the Burn Interchange. Inbound is 12. Outbound is 11. There is a stall on the northbound Tri-State blocking the right lane at Atkins Road, and on the Jane Addams, the left lane is blocked with an accident eastbound right at Route 31. This report is a service of Supershore. Do you own a small business? You need to hear this. A seismic shift is coming. It's time to get Supershore. Not kind of sure, not pretty sure, not a little sure, but Supershore. The seismic shift is coming. Supershore, coming soon. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, but now a check of your forecast from the National Weather Service.
Today, expect chilly temperatures with a mix of sun and clouds, transitioning to intermittent snow and flurries in the afternoon. There will be little to no snow accumulation, but watch out for slippery spots. The high will reach 26. Tonight, it will be breezy in the evening with some light snow early on, then mostly cloudy with a low of 22. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
All right, a couple of my notes got buried that I had to share real quick on what we were talking about with two things, the Minnesota fraud and then the Chicago Public Schools Board voting to jack up your taxes all the way to the top. Number one, this came out last night late as well. Journalist Nick Shirley retweeting what one woman said with the state of Minnesota. She's actually a representative for the state of Minnesota. Paging Governor Tim Walz, why is the child care licensing page down? What are you and DHS hiding? Journalist Nick Shirley tweeted this and retweeted it and said Tim Walz and his fraudsters have taken down the child care licensing page. Well, yeah, we have to protect the Somali fraud. And as Tim Walz said earlier, we played the audio of him, saying that white crime is the real problem here. White crime, and the Somali people just don't know. We have to teach them. We have to educate them. Stealing is great in your country, but not here. They just didn't know that. They don't know it's wrong to steal. Poor folks, not their fault. And this from, as I mentioned earlier, this is from Austin Berg, who's a great writer, as we all know, in his columns. He tweeted this about the Chicago Public Schools Board jacking up our taxes to the max in a secret meeting, as Channel 32 reported, Fox Chicago. Quote, Austin Berg writes, watch, the Brandon Johnson-controlled Chicago Public Schools Board just passed $25 million property tax hike. CPS consumes more than half of every property tax dollar collected in Chicago. Due to a TIF loophole exploited by the mayor, Chicagoans will not get a referendum vote on more than $500 million in extra property tax revenue for CPS next year. $500 million. Higher property taxes for CPS means more money for the mayor's number one political campaign contributor and former employer, CTU. Now, here's the school board members who voted against raising our taxes to the max in that secretive meeting. Carlos Rivas, Ellen, don't you love how I can speak like that? Carlos Rivas, Ellen Rosenfeld, Angel Gutierrez, Shay Reinfest Smith, that's quite an interesting middle name there, and Teresa Boyle. They voted no to increase our taxes. Okay? This is so rich. We have found out that for New Year's Eve, Dick Clark's New Year's Rocket Eve, hosted by Ryan Seacrest, for the first time since the 70s, is going to have a Chicago live broadcast as well, included in their New York broadcast. And so what that means is a big show, and it's all rappers, which I think means there's going to be more of a chance of violence. And so the Secret Service is going to be involved, FBI. Anytime you have a massive event like this, you're going to have that in a major city like Chicago. But Mayor Brandon Johnson, BLM Brandon, as Dan calls him, Mayor Brandon Johnson is coming out and warning the parents of thugs that you need to be involved. You need to talk to your children. And he reiterates again, listen to this. This is great, from the Christmas tree lighting ceremony. My parents, by the way, I think there's a Neil Diamond play. I don't know if it's still going on. And my dad did not want to go downtown. He's a former Chicago police officer. And, you know, he doesn't, he's not playing with this stuff. He knows it's not safe. He did not want to go, but my mom says, I'm going. This is on my bucket list. And we're going to go see the Neil Diamond play. And when they come out of it, then there's bike officers everywhere. And that's when they found out the Christmas tree lighting ceremony, when there was a 14-year-old shot and killed, all the mayhem from the thugs running wild. Brandon, of course, reiterating this. He says he has learned hard lessons from the violence that followed the tree lighting event. He's learned hard lessons. What is he, in kindergarten? He says, yes, we need to work together for ingress and egress. That's why thugs shot up the Christmas tree lighting ceremony. They didn't have ingress and egress. And then he also was sending this message to parents. And he was saying, you know, parents who are not too involved in your child, we need you to really talk. Here, it's right here. Some city council members have pushed to authorize police to declare curfews within 30 minutes. Oh, Brandon Johnson suddenly supports curfews, by the way, just for one night. When it is the New Year's Eve celebrations, now he supports a curfew. Before that, and what he always says is, these thugs need a jobs program. If they just had job training program, they wouldn't be doing this violence. That's what we need. Not curfews, not enforcement. And so it's hug a thug. Can I bring my GAT to my job training program? Yeah, that's what this is. But anyways, Johnson, who vetoed curfews, this is so funny. He vetoed curfews over the summer, has emphasized creating more jobs and recreational opportunities for thugs as outlets for young people in the south and west sides of the city, blah, 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 blah. That's hug a thug. Those acts of violence and terror that have disrupted our city and, quite frankly, set our city back, Johnson says, It's not only upsetting, but it enhances our determination to continue to get it right. We just need to hug the thug harder. Anyways, he says, we're asking parents, this is it, we're asking parents who may not be as diligent as most parents already are to just know where their children are, the mayor added. Hint, Mr. Mayor, those parents aren't listening. They're not watching the news. They're not listening to you. There's a reason why they've raised thugs. To which I wrote in here when I was thinking about all this, I wrote, I just need a job. Can I bring my gun with me? My job program, my GAT? Sure. Now, here's some things I've thought about a lot with this huge New Year's Eve thing we're having, right? On national television. Could we end up being a national embarrassment? Could it end up that people are shot like at the tree lighting ceremony, running wild? Could we have more Brandon's bodies on New Year's Eve? That's one of the things I've been thinking about with this. They're talking about this also in the Tribune today and saying the teen takeover gatherings have vexed the city for more than a decade. We're going to be talking to retired Chief of Police Tom Wetzel from Riverside a little bit later on the show. The word teen takeover shouldn't even be in our vernacular. When you say teen takeover, what you're saying is we are allowing teens to take over. We are handing the teens the reins to take over. Here you go. That's Brandon Johnson's logic and his plan. And, think about those three vile young thug punks that took the $2. They asked a guy, they got on the bus with the CTA. We talked about this last week. They get on the bus. They ask the sweet 62-year-old black man, do you have a couple bucks for bus fare? He gives it to him, and they beat the hell out of him and rob him. Put him in a coma. I was off the air. I was on with you last week for 2 days. And then after that, I saw that he came out of that coma, that sweet man. And these are the types of sick, wicked people who would take money from a sweet man and then beat the hell out of him and put him in a coma. And Brandon says they just need jobs. So how confident are you that we're not going to have another thug event, another teen takeover, another shooting or murder of a teenager in the streets of Chicago on New Year's Eve? Let me ask you another question. I actually had this to ask you yesterday, but I didn't do it. And this is about as authentic as it gets, okay? So I came to visit with my family in Chicago about 2-3 weeks ago. Early because I'm doing tons of fill-ins for the week of Christmas and New Year's this week. And so I went early. My wife and kids are going now because of scheduling is better for them. So this is the first time we're kind of going separately for just 1 year. And they're there right now, my wife and kids. And my daughter's 19. She's there with her boyfriend. My son is 22. He's there with his fiance. And they want to go downtown. And my parents are like, don't do that. It's not safe. And I understand that. It's not like when I was growing up going there. But that's the other thing, too. I mean, would you even dare allow bless your 19 to 22-year-old going downtown? I did tell them don't go at night. That's my unequivocal recommendation. But other than that, and are you going to go to the New Year's Eve show, and what's your advice? Even if you're not going, what's your advice to those who are going to go? Duck and cover. Be prepared to run. Wear a Kevlar vest. And I don't know the specifics of, I'm licensed to carry in the state of Texas, where I'm sitting in Dallas-Fort Worth, as a Chicago guy born and raised, but I don't know what the rules are for concealed carry in Illinois. If you're allowed to go to a big event like this, a public event. I know in Texas you can't go to a sporting event while you're carrying, so I don't know about this. But my hope is that you can carry it, because that's about the only good thing I can think about that you could do when you're over there if something should go down. All right, let's go to your call, 312-642-5600, 312-642-5600. Let us go to Michael on the south side. Michael, you're on AM 560. The Answer. Chris Crocken for Dan Proft.
Chris, thank you for taking my call. Earlier in your broadcast, you used the term dirtbag.
Yes.
And I kind of feel like it applies to Brandon Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
The man is, his logic is incredible. Like you said, he vetoed the teen curfew.
Yes.
Pretty much making it about race. And now he wants one for a nationally broadcast event. The man is just scum. And the other thing.
By the way,
is that,
doesn't this make you think about? Made me think about California. Remember the sick bums and the homeless everywhere and the crap everywhere, and then President Xi Jinping from China comes in and Gavin Newsom cleans up the streets of San Francisco just for him. Same kind of a thing.
Oh, absolutely. Well, Newsom is another dirtbag. Mm-hmm. And, something, not to mention that something similar happened here in Chicago because the city cleaned up the homeless camp, for the Democratic National Convention.
Yes, absolutely.
But
Michael,
the other thing worth mentioning is that Brandon Johnson signed an order limiting police overtime. But think about the overtime he will pay on New Year's Eve to flood downtown with cops.
Yes.
To protect his image on national television while also protecting the neighborhoods.
I went nuts on the overtime. City council and the mayor trying to cut money out of the budget by eliminating overtime. And I went nuts on this yesterday because I said the reason what they're doing here, the reason why they have so much overtime is because they're understaffed by about 2,000 officers.
Right.
And lo and behold, last night I was reading former chief of Riverside Police, Tom Wetzel, who's going to come on the show in the next hour. I was reading from him saying exactly what I said yesterday. It made me feel good. I felt like I got a little gold star because he said the same thing. That's exactly what's going on. They don't want to hire those people, but then you can't cover the streets. What this will do is invite more and horrible violence and mayhem because then you just won't have enough cops in the street at all, period. But you'll be saving money. But you'll be spending the same amount or more on people being slaughtered on the streets of Chicago, on crime going up higher and higher and higher. We'll talk to Roger coming up next on the South Side about the New Year's Eve celebration. Are you going to go? What's your advice to those who do go? Duck and cover. And then also, Mayor Johnson tweeted out about mocking the shot spotter last night. I don't know why he was bringing that up again. Wait till you hear how the CWB and some others came out and just wailed on him for that. All that's coming up next. Chris in for Dan on AM 560, The Answer, Chicago's Morning Answer.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper. Hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicagoland certified financial planning professional Tim Stearns discusses taxes in retirement.
Most people are paying more in taxes and keeping less of their money to live and do what they enjoy. That's why we've put out the retirement tax bill calculator online. You can see with your own eyes just how much you might be overpaying. It's a valuable tool, $500 value, but we made it free for you to view and run your own numbers at MVPCFP.com. That's MVPCFP.com.
To run your retirement tax bill calculator, go to MVPCFP.com.
Investment advisory services offered through Cornerstone Securities, LLC.
Welcome to another edition of Tuesdays with Tim. My friend Tim Stearns, a certified financial planner with TJ Stearns Financial Planning in Arlington Heights. Tim, how are you? Welcome back.
Doing well. Thanks for having me.
Tim, for more than 25 years, you've been helping clients achieve financial security and peace of mind. Can you give our listeners some examples of how you've helped clients over the years?
A couple of your listeners called in. They're a married couple. They're in their 60s. They were really concerned and tired of trying to manage their own investments. So their accounts were quite big, but they felt like they needed a little help with it so they didn't screw up at this stage of the game. So they couldn't afford to lose any money in the market moving forward, and trying to manage retirement on a fixed income was kind of a daunting task for them. So with about $1.5 million in 401k savings and other stocks and bonds, we rearranged their portfolio so that they had guaranteed future income, less volatility in the market, and of course tax savings. So now they have this peace of mind because they know that they have a protect and grow blueprint.
Thank you, Tim. If you're in your 50s or 60s, I want you to speak with my friend Tim Stearns, TJ Stearns Financial Planning. Tim will help you structure and optimize your savings to prepare for 20 to 30 years of enjoyable retirement. Call Tim today to schedule your free consultation and get your free Protect and Grow blueprint. Call 1-800-640-2256. Again, that number, 800-640-2256. Tell him I sent you when you call Tim at 800-640-2256.
Hey there, Chicagoland. Jeff here from Jeff Buys Your House. For many homeowners, winter can feel overwhelming. There's big bills, unexpected situations, or the stress of owning a home you no longer want. But here's the good news. You don't need to wait for warmer weather to make a change. At Jeff Buys Your House, we make selling simple. Even in the heart of winter, you don't need to fix anything, do any cleaning, and you certainly don't need to worry about unpredictable buyers. We buy houses as is, and you choose the closing date that works best for you. We've made the home selling process easy and stress-free for nearly 2 decades. That's why homeowners trust us, and why we've earned over 400 Google reviews and an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. As a veteran-owned business, we handle everything with integrity and care. So if winter is weighing on you, we are here to help lighten the load. Call us at 630-895-9530. That's 630-895-9530 or jeffbuysyourhouse.com and get your offer today.
Listen, I'm going to be straight with you. Pain doesn't just hurt your body, it cripples your life. I know this because I've seen it with people I care about. If joint pain is holding you back, start the new year by doing something different. There's a way to get real relief without surgery and without putting your life on pause. But you have to take that first step and contact my friends at QC Kinetics. They provide regenerative treatments that help your body repair the areas that are causing pain. I've talked to people who've been through this. These are real results. Achy knees, hips, shoulders, wherever it hurts, instead of facing surgery that sidelines you for months, QC Kinetics treatments happen in the office. Simple procedures that deliver big, life-changing results. January is supposed to be your clean slate month, so make it one. Stop managing the pain and start solving it. Call now to learn more and tell them Dan Proft, that's me, sent you when you do. The number 312-827-6261. That's 312-827-6261. Call QC Kinetics to start the year right. 312-827-6261.
AM 560, The Answer.
Woo! Oh, yeah. Chris in for Dan. AM 560, The Answer, Chicago's Morning Answer. Look at this. One of the CPD first deputy superintendents says the event, New Year's Eve, should be very safe because people will be screened there for weapons. So the only people with weapons at the New Year's Eve event will be the thugs. Everybody else will be screened. We promise. Let's go to Roger. Roger, you're on the south side. You're on AM 560, The Answer.
How you doing, Chris? You're doing a great job filling in for Dan.
Thank you.
Anyways, I was wondering, are you going to be running a poll starting today and tomorrow for shootings, for the new year? I'm going to go with 22 and 4, 22 shootings, 4 fatalities. And the other thing that never doesn't get mentioned is the shootings. The media only puts out the weekends, which is really basically a day and a half.
Right.
The Chicago city, the proper, we average over 80 shootings a week here.
Right.
We had a period during COVID where we went 4 months over 100.
Yeah.
So I don't think, it's only a matter of time before, the trough at the animal farm will no longer feed because essentially what's going on here, like any communist country, they're going to bring you down to their level, so you have to decide whether you want to stay.
I got to roll, brother, but I totally agree with you. This is AM 560, The Answer, Chicago's Morning Answer, WIND, Chicago.
There will be hell to pay. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's President Trump's warning to Hamas if they don't give up their weapons.
They're going to be given a very short period of time to disarm, and we'll see how that works out.
President Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu met at Mar-a-Lago to discuss the next steps in the Gaza Strip, trying to move to the next phase of its peace plan. That's where Hamas disarms, the Israeli military pulls back, and an international police force polices the area. The specifics of how Gaza gets to that point are unclear.
That's Fox's Rich Edson. The president also warned Iran about rebuilding a nuclear program Israel and the U.S. attacked earlier this year.
They're not going to go back to where they were, but they have other places they can go. And if they're doing that, they're making a big mistake.
And President Trump gave more details of the land strike in Venezuela. He first mentioned last week, saying the U.S. took out a dock where he alleges they load boats with illegal drugs, as the U.S. military blew up another boat, killing 2 more alleged drug smugglers.
The vessel, according to intelligence received, was identified and spotted traveling along a known Eastern Pacific narco-terrorism route. According to the Trump administration, this strike is the 30th such action in Caribbean and Eastern Pacific waters, killing more than 100 people.
That's Fox's Gernal Scott. Republicans in Minnesota are calling for Democratic Governor Tim Walz to resign over a multi-billion-dollar fraud scandal.
Attorney General Pam Bondi says they've been looking into these allegations of fraud for months, and they expect more prosecutions will be coming. So far, she says 98 people have been charged, 85 of whom are of Somali descent. It comes after an independent reporter, Nick Shirley's video investigating federally funded child care centers in the Twin Cities went viral. Minnesota officials are pushing back, though, saying previous investigations into the locations referenced in Shirley's videos did not uncover evidence of fraud.
That's Fox's Madeline Rivera. America's listening to Fox News.
Good morning, 13 degrees in Chicago on AM 560 The Answer. I'm John Cruz in the newsroom. Snow is back this afternoon. Winds much calmer today, highs in the mid-20s. There are changes coming to St. Sabina Church one day after 3 people were shot and injured near the church over the weekend. It began with an argument during a basketball game. For now, Sunday's men basketball games are suspended. Father Michael Flagler says the focus for now is finding the shooter. A total of 5 tornadoes hitting central Illinois, including one in Livingston County that was rated EF2 by the Weather Service on Monday. That twister took several roofs from homes in the Decatur area. Also, 90-mile-per-hour winds hit the northwest side of Pontiac. Thankfully, no major injuries reported. The Chicago nonprofit suing the Department of Education, the Brighton Park Neighborhood Council, and AFT filing the lawsuit over funding cuts made to a program that provides wraparound services to students in high-poverty areas. Now, the suit claims the department broke both federal law and direction from Congress when it slashed millions of dollars of grant funding through its full-service community schools program earlier this month. The murder rate in Chicago continuing to decline. As of early last week, the city counted 403 homicides. That's a 30% drop from the same period this time last year. At the same time, 1,430 more people suffered non-fatal gunshot injuries compared with 2,169 the same period a year earlier. This will make 2025 the 4th straight year of declines in Chicago gun violence. And authorities urging Illinoisans to celebrate New Year's Eve safely. The Illinois Department of Transportation, state police, and law enforcement throughout the state will be increasing patrols focused on impaired drivers, seatbelt violations, distracted driving, and speeding. IDOT says through December 18th, more than 1,100 people have lost their lives in crashes in Illinois, 10 fewer than during the same period in 2024. There's a report of service of the daily podcast of Chicago's Morning Answer and the Sean Thompson Show. Hear both shows with limited commercials when you subscribe for free to the daily podcast at 560theanswer.com/podcast. A check of your roads coming up in 2 minutes on AM 560 The Answer.
Larry Elder wants facts in the argument.
It just drives me crazy whenever there is a mass shooting and the immediate call for people on the left to demand more gun control. Never, even on Fox, do you hear somebody say, well, let's also consider how often Americans use guns to save lives, themselves or others, or bodily injury. It just seems to me that should be relevant.
The Larry Elder Show, weeknights at 8, right before Sean Hannity at 10 on AM 560. The Answer.
Well, that was a surprise. The HVAC tech just said our furnace apparently has a cracked heat exchanger, and it'll cost thousands.
Oh, you're kidding. He barely looked at it. Now he's pushing a huge repair? What should we do?
I don't really trust them. We need a second opinion. My brother Mark recommended Air Right Heating and Cooling. I looked them up, and they seem legit. Great Google reviews. I'm sure they'd give us an honest assessment. He liked that they checked their carbon monoxide readings so he knows the air they're breathing is safe. And I guess it also gave a sense of how much life was left in their furnace.
I'd love that peace of mind. Plus, why spend a fortune on something we might not even need?
Get a second opinion from Air Right Heating and Cooling. Tell them AM 560 sent you and get $56 off any service. Visit Air Right Heating and Cooling right now at AIR-RITE.com. Again, that's AIR-RITE.com. Air Right Heating and Cooling. Doing it right since 1959.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-393-1881. That's 800-393-1881. 800-393-1881.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Robert Anderson, president of McLaughlin Body Company in the Quad Cities, and a customer of Signature Bank. When our 100-year-old family-owned manufacturing company was looking for a new bank, we found an excellent partner with Signature Bank. Signature Bank understands the challenges with manufacturing in today's highly competitive environment. We recently participated in a new markets tax credit program and were fortunate to have the experts at Signature Bank help us navigate the complexities of this program. With Signature Bank's support, we were able to expand not only our facility, but ultimately our business. If you're looking for a trusted banking partner for your business, look to Chicago's own Signature Bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Taking a look at the roads from the Team Hochberg Traffic Center, I'm Sue Eller. Got a problem now on the Kennedy eastbound at Cumberland Avenue. It's a car fire. Delays go all the way back to East River Road. So the Kennedy inbound from O'Hare to the Byrne interchange is 26 minutes. Outbound is 21. Still in great shape on the Eden from Lake Cook to Montrose. Inbound is 15 minutes, outbound is 14. Just 15 minutes in both directions on the Eisenhower from Wolf to the old post office. Looking good on the Stevenson inbound from the Tri-State to Lakeshore, 17 minutes, outbound is 16. And no problems on the Dan Ryan from 95th to the Byrne interchange. Inbound is 13, outbound is 11. This report is a service of AM 560 mobile app. Listen to AM 560 on your smartphone or mobile device when you download the AM 560 mobile app at 560theanswer.com/mobile or text the word APP to 64636. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, but now a check of your forecast from the National Weather Service.
Today, expect chilly temperatures with a mix of sun and clouds transitioning to intermittent snow and flurries in the afternoon. There will be little to no snow accumulation, but watch out for slippery spots. The high will reach 26. Tonight, it will be breezy in the evening with some light snow early on, then mostly cloudy with a low of 22. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft on AM 560, The Answer.
This is AM 560, The Answer, Chicago's Morning Answer. Chris Kroc in for Dan Proft. He'll be back after this week's holidays. Now, this is, I have much anticipation of talking to retired Riverside Chief of Police Thomas Weitzel. Thank you, Chief, for joining us again on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning, Chris, and thanks for having me.
Great talking to you, man. Always. Okay, a couple things. We have the New Year's Eve thing coming up. And, let me just ask you a few things. What would your advice be to people? Would it be to not go because of the, Christmas tree lighting scenario possibly happening again? You've got a rap concert. You have Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve for the first time since the 70s, actually doing part of their broadcast in Chicago for New Year's Eve. Brandon Johnson is talking about, now a curfew. Now I want a curfew for one day. But other than that, it's bad. It's bad. We need more jobs programs for thugs instead of having curfews, that kind of BS. So what's your advice to those who are going, and would you tell your folks to not go? For example, with this event specifically first, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I wouldn't go, and I would tell people I know not to go. But certainly, if you are going, I would go in a group, or I would have already made like reservations where you could watch events from inside your hotel room or something like that if you're down actually in the Loop area. But I would not go. I mean, there is going to be, these types of events are always attracting criminal activity. Maybe in the last 3 or 4 years, without a doubt. So Chicago will definitely have a large presence down in the downtown area, no question about that. But we've seen that doesn't all the time make a difference. And you just referenced that disturbance they had where 9 individuals were shot and 1 were killed during the Christmas tree. I mean, and they had an extra 800 police officers assigned to the district that night. Mm-hmm. So that always doesn't make a huge difference. And that statement by the mayor that it's okay for a 1-day curfew, the problem with that, Chris, is that's a stupid statement to begin with, but curfews are usually for after. Like, the incident's already happening, and then you're gathering up or taking juveniles into custody on the curfew violations, but it's not preventing them from coming down. It's not preventing the gathering. It's not preventing the violence.
So that answers one of my big questions with that. And then how about this? Chicago officials are warning, this is from journalist Mario Naufal, Chicago officials are warning that New Year's Eve events are now attractive targets for terrorists because of not anything specific, but because the setup is perfect for chaos, massive crowds, soft targets, no escape. In New Orleans, the FBI just stopped a bomb plot for these extremist leftist groups planning on hitting ICE agents with pipe bombs and firearms. Their goal was to take some of them out and scare the rest. So is this wise to share with the public and, that kind of a thing? Is that wise, or is it good to share it so that people can really be aware and know what's going on before they go to the event?
Yeah, it's absolutely the right thing to do to share. I mean, why would you withhold information that could provide security for you and your family? You have no way to make a decision on whether you're going to go to an event or you're going to go to a large gathering if the police are withholding information. I mean, you as a resident or a citizen of where you're living, information is power for you, and you decide, hey, I'm going to bring my husband and wife. We're going to go down with our 4 kids, the city of Chicago or New Orleans, you mentioned. I mean, you have to be able to have accurate information to say, okay, we're going to drive down or we're going to take public transportation. What are the threats? What are the known threats, if any? Of course they should be releasing that information. And I know there are those that disagree with me because they say, oh, you're over-exaggerated and you're keeping people from coming and having a good time. But what that translates to is they're keeping people from coming and spending money, and it's about revenue, okay? They're like, oh, don't scare them. Don't scare them. Well, that means, what do you mean? Don't give them the truth, the facts?
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you this, too. This popped up last night. Apparently, Mayor Brandon Johnson tweeted this out. Instead of buying any more walkie-talkies on poles, making fun of ShotSpotter, we need to continue investing in our communities by hiring more young people for summer jobs and training more community violence intervention workers, which I wrote, hug a thug. Can I bring my GAT to the job training program? But some folks are commenting on this. Sometimes saying Johnson's curfew has set a New Year curfew for people under 18, downtown without supervision, adult supervision. CWB says just like he kept ShotSpotter active until after the DNC, Democrat Convention, some policies suddenly critical when the spotlight is on the city, but not on the other 364 days. Another person, the Chicago Spectator, chimed in talking about the horrific story, as we recall. According to dispatch recordings, a ShotSpotter sensor alerted police to the shooting that killed Chicago police officer Luis Huesca nearly 5 minutes before the rest of the 911 callers started coming in Sunday morning. Johnson on Monday was asked repeatedly about this revelation, his plan to scrap ShotSpotter technology, and he basically dodged it and wouldn't do it. So somebody wrote from Chicago Spectator, yes, Mrs. Huesca, it was just a walkie-talkie on a pole that alerted us to the shooting death of your son. The mayor is a disgrace. Thoughts on all that?
Yeah, the mayor's turning off basically the ShotSpotter was a terrible decision. And you remember he said that they would look for a replacement tool. I mean, data technology, that hasn't happened. And
Right.
I mean, CWB Chicago, they have documented, I think they're up to 67, what they call Brandon's bodies of police being able to respond. And make no mistake, those that don't support the ShotSpotter and were in the camp of the mayor thought that that's a tool that prevents shooting. It's a tool that gets officers to the scene quicker, that makes sure that there's first aid may be rendered quicker, that the paramedics get there, and that people survive shootings. Because in the case with the ShotSpotter, it got the officers there, it got paramedics there, and they got notification from ShotSpotter when no one else called 911. Not a single caller reported those incidents. So that's a tool police use to help them respond quicker, not to prevent shootings.
All right, Chief, this is another big one. A lot of good stuff today to talk to you about. Okay, this is the 2 arrested following large disturbance at Joliet Mall. Police in Joliet arrested 2 people following a large disturbance Saturday at the Joliet Mall, at the Louis Joliet Mall, before 6 p.m. December 27th, Saturday. Approximately 50 juveniles causing a disturbance inside the mall. I saw 2 weaves that apparently had been ripped out of girls' hairs on the floor there, with people running wild everywhere after the cops, before they showed up or after they showed up. Multiple fights happening prior to and upon officers' arrival. Numerous juveniles fled the mall area. So, you wrote about this. The teen takeover in Chicago has now reached suburban Joliet. It's learned behavior from Chicago and Glen Ellen. Without swift enforcement, it'll only get worse. So, first of all, only 2 arrests when there were 50 people. And second of all, teen takeover. That shouldn't even be in our vernacular, because we're letting teens take over when we're supposed to be in charge. Talk to me.
Yeah, they should change that from targeted violence, what that is. A teen takeover is a nice, soft term people like to use, but these are actual incidents with large numbers of teens. Total chaos. It's planned, usually put out on social media. And the suburban department sometimes can be overtaken very quickly because, they just don't have the staffing and manpower that like the city of Chicago does. But these are definite types of incidents that started in the city. They have moved to the suburbs. The reason I mentioned Glen Ellen, about they had the pool takeover.
Yes.
Hundreds.
Yes.
That's the same type of behavior that's happening, that took place at the Joliet Mall. It's learned behavior. It's that type of thing that they see on TV. They see the publicity on it, and they do it. And I found out that it was advertised on social media. So, yes, my position is you should be arresting everybody you can. I mean, they've tried everything else: de-escalation, sending out parents newsletters to students at the school districts,
jobs programs.
Yeah, I mean, they're not working. And I saw a Chicago alderman say, "Hey, we're going to hold the social media companies accountable by fining them $50,000." That's a great idea, right? It's going to do nothing. That's not going to do anything.
Right, exactly. All right, the Chicago Contrarian, since they won't do basic research to learn why CPD overtime, this is huge to me, Chief, because I talked about this yesterday. I was very mad about it. I was mad about the lie saying, we can cut money out of the budget. The largest line item on the budget is Chicago police paying for their overtime, their salary, and we can cut that. And my response was, in anger, how dare you? You are 2,000 officers short for the city of Chicago. That's why your overtime is insane. I know police officers who have left that department, that were in that department, that were worked to death, always, always, always called all the time for overtime, no matter what. Cancel vacation. Screw you. You mean nothing. Your family means nothing. Work, 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 work. And now they're going to cut overtime because so what that means is the overtime is there because officers are not working and they don't have enough people in these jobs. They're short, and now they're going to cut that overtime. Meaning now you're going to have thugs running wild everywhere. So tell me how true that is, and what your thoughts are on this.
That's completely misleading. Every police department has an expansive overtime budget. It's just a fact. City of Chicago is a huge one. They almost always go over the budget, because what happens is that the city officials or your village officials, they ask for police to be coming up on the New Year's Eve. They're going to have extra officers. Those are all overtime, and not only are they time and a half, they're double time, sometimes triple times on Halloween. Those are in there for union contracts. You can't get around that, and they're going to put officers out when the city or the elected officials are asking, hey, we need officers down here. We need more officers, more officers. That's not planned overtime, right? That's forced overtime. So there's always going to be overtime. And when the city of Chicago is 2,000 officers short, and like I put on my X account, it's a dirty little secret. What's happened behind closed doors, Chris, is that the elected officials, they don't care so much that they're burning out the cops and that they're working overtime, because most of those elected officials will tell the superintendent or the chief of police, you guys are doing a great job. Keep doing the same thing. They're not going to hire officers because the amount of it costs to hire officers isn't going to exceed that, because the cities and municipalities don't want to pay new officer salaries, benefits, police academy, uniforms. It's tremendous amount of money. It's somewhere around $180,000 to $200,000 to hire a single officer.
Wow.
And then Chris, they have those expenses forever, right, until they retire. They don't have, so they would sometimes they're like, okay, publicly we're going to say reduce overtime, but behind closed doors they're saying, great job, keep giving that overtime out to the officers. And the officers only like overtime, to a certain extent, because they do face burnout.
Yes. Okay, here's another one that I wanted to talk to you about. This is from Awake, Illinois. Allowing passengers on CTA trains and buses to carry concealed weapons is a recipe for making an unacceptably unsafe transit system that much more dangerous. It's much more dangerous. Imagine riding in a crowded L car and seeing a rider feeling threatened, brandishing a firearm with their own defense. Would that make you the unarmed passenger feel safer? With the prospect of gunshots in a confined space striking people other than the intended target. They're quoting somebody else. We expect the women set on fire recently on the Blue Line would have felt safer, they write, with a trained CCL weapon holder in the car with her or some form of weapon herself. They're attacking the Chicago Tribune on this quote. Then again, you did set up portals for people to track law enforcement, create chaos, and bring possible harm to our police. Talk to me about this, because I think that you know what else? What the court adjudication on this prior cases are with case law says, the term sensitive spaces is exactly what is used in this case, and what is going to have to be adjudicated with the Supreme Court apparently. Sensitive spaces. And they say, well, the CTA, the L is a sensitive space. But to which I say, what do you mean sensitive space? There's nothing sensitive about public transit. There's nothing sensitive about it. It's insensitive. People come and they go, right, like cattle. So what do you say about the whole argument of sensitive spaces and letting people carry on public transit?
I don't think that they're going to, the individuals who are, supporting that sensitive space, that's not going to fly for public spaces, okay? I don't think the court's going to rule. The sensitive spaces might be inside of museums or college campus dorms or something like that. It's not going to be public spaces. And remember, the Chicago Tribune is criticizing what would be legally lawful concealed carry, people that are licensed carry a weapon to protect themselves, okay? That's what they're saying should not be allowed. But that's the same media organization that, like I posted, will track federal law enforcement agencies. They will track them, photograph them, map them out, put them on portals, live as is happening, live, and they allow that. And then people are coming and attacking federal officers. Sometimes they're throwing bricks and bottles and getting injured. That's okay. But for a citizen to carry lawfully concealed carry, regardless of whether you're for concealed carry or not, if it's lawful, they're going to criticize that.
And to me, it's disgusting because born and raised Chicago, but I live in Dallas-Fort Worth, and I'm a concealed carry holder. I carry it everywhere, and yes, we can carry it on mass transit. It's just, it is so disgusting to me to see how neutered they have folks in Chicago and in Illinois with these anti-gun laws. It's just unbelievable. Chief, one more quick question. You tweeted this out. I stand by my statement. I consider Illinois to be one of the most anti-police legislative states in America. How and why?
Yeah, well, because they pass legislation, and it's still attempting to pass legislation in Springfield to limit police authority and be able to gut the policing profession. They already got rid of the gang database. They have tried to reduce traffic stops, meaning that they want to. They're obsessed with this term pretextual traffic stops, and they think that the police are unlawfully using those to come up with arrests of individuals in the car. Now, make note, Chris, that the United States Supreme Court said that that's totally lawful. Okay, they've ruled already, the United States Supreme Court, but they still want to say that the police are abusing it, and they're trying to stop you, meaning the officers, from making traffic stops for no license plates or driving at 10 o'clock at night with no headlights. That you can't do that. You could not stop an individual based on that alone. That hasn't passed, but they're still trying to pass legislation like that. There's all kinds of anti-police legislation. There was a proposal that if you attacked a police officer, it wouldn't be a felony. There's a proposal that officers can use their tasers only on certain parts of the body.
Oh my God! These are people who don't know how to. They don't even know how they have no idea what they're talking about with this.
Yeah, I mean, it's and I was criticized. I did a recent. It's going to be out January 1st. You spoke earlier of Awake Illinois. I did their first ever podcast called Awake and Armed. It's coming out January 1st, and they put a clip out on that, and I received some nasty emails saying that my information isn't correct. This is correct. That's what's happening in Springfield. They're attempting to pass legislation so that police can do nothing more but drive down the street and wave out the window at people, but they can't do the job they're employed for.
It's sick. Chief Thomas Wetzel, retired. Chief of Police, Riverside, we're really grateful for you. Thanks for your continued contributions and keeping us up to date on what is happening with law enforcement and our rights and as citizens and for police officers. Thank you very much for joining us again on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Thanks for having me. Have a safe New Year.
Thank you. You too. Up next, Mark Glennon, founder of WirePoints. It's Chris Crockett for Dan Proft on AM 560, Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Your local State Farm agent, Anthony DeGrotto, combines good neighbor service with surprisingly great rates. You can combine your home, auto, and life insurance to not only save you money, but give you the peace of mind you've been looking for. Anthony DeGrotto is your go-to agent in Chicagoland. He and his team will work for you to provide the best service you expect at the price you want. Combine your home, auto, and life insurance today. Anthony DeGrotto will help you mix and match things perfectly. His State Farm office is a top pick 2024 Daily Herald Reader's Choice Award winner. He's a proud supporter of Tunnel to Towers and like-minded as you. His State Farm agency is currently looking to add members at their Roselle office. Call Anthony at 847-895-1500 today or visit DeGrottoSF.com. That's DeGrottoSF.com. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements.
Chicagoland certified financial planning professional Tim Stearns discusses taxes in retirement.
Most people are paying more in taxes and keeping less of their money to live and do what they enjoy. That's why we've put out the Retirement Tax Bill Calculator online. You can see with your own eyes just how much you might be overpaying. It's a valuable tool, $500 value, but we made it free for you to view and run your own numbers at MVPCFP.com. That's MVPCFP.com.
To run your retirement tax bill calculator, go to MVPCFP.com.
Investment advisory services offered through Cornerstone Securities, LLC.
Welcome to another edition of Tuesdays with Tim. My friend Tim Stearns, a certified financial planner with TJ Stearns Financial Planning in Arlington Heights. Tim, how are you? Welcome back.
Doing well. Thanks for having me.
So, Tim, let's check in on how you've been helping clients achieve financial security and peace of mind. Perhaps you have a story or two, a success story or two, an example of how you've helped clients recently.
I remember I had a neighbor who, believe it or not, was a longtime listener to your show. And he had come up to me in the yard and said he wanted to stop and smell the roses and kind of get out of his job. He was done taking the train downtown to Chicago every day and basically working 60 hours a week for a company that didn't really care about him or his family. So we started running numbers, and lo and behold, he was able to retire 5 years earlier. He's now 12 years retired, He's a grandpa. He's loving life. He too needed a protect and grow blueprint, and he had to make sure he wasn't leaving anything to chance for their future.
Thank you, Tim. If you're in your 50s or 60s, I want you to speak with my friend Tim Stearns, TJ Stearns Financial Planning. Tim will help you structure and optimize your savings to prepare for 20 to 30 years of enjoyable retirement. Call Tim today to schedule your free consultation and get your free Protect and Grow blueprint. Call 1-800-640-2256. Again, that number, 800-640-2256. Tell him I sent you when you call Tim at 800-640-2256.
The following advertisement includes a celebrity impersonation.
You know, nothing beats the comfort of a perfectly heated home.
And when it comes to heating your home, Air Right Heating and Cooling does it the best.
And they love our country. Beautiful people.
Air Right Heating and Cooling is fast. When your furnace breaks down, they'll fix it right away.
Just like that. Big time results. No waiting around. You get the job done right. And let's face it, who doesn't love being warm, right? It's beautiful. When it's freezing, I crank up that amazing furnace. Burn, baby, burn. Trust me, you'll say, wow, I've never felt this warm in my life.
If you like keeping your hard-earned money, then contact Air Right Heating and Cooling. Tell them AM 560 sent you, and right now you'll receive $56 off any service.
Unbelievable.
Visit Air Right Heating and Cooling today at AIR-RITE.com. Again, that's AIR-RITE.com. Air Right Heating and Cooling. Doing it right since 1959.
Hi, I'm Ken Mariotti, owner of Woodland Windows and Doors, a third-generation family-owned business since 1969. We know you're bombarded by choices when shopping for new windows or doors, so we're inviting you to experience the Woodland difference. For decades, we have been transforming living spaces with Marvin Windows, a fifth-generation family business. Marvin replacement windows have been known to increase the warmth of your cold rooms by 10 degrees. Think about that, 10 degrees warmer. When you welcome Woodland into your home, you will get a product expert to transform your living spaces, full-time, dedicated professional installers that you can trust in your home, along with the best products like Marvin. These are the reasons we're proud of our 5-star reviews and family legacy. No gimmicks, no pressure, and upfront pricing are why Woodland Windows and Doors is your trusted window and door expert in Chicagoland. Visit woodlandwindows.com to book your free in-home expert consultation. That's woodlandwindows.com, or stop by our showroom at the corner of Lake and Geary in Roselle.
It's news, opinion, and insight at the speed of your life. Streaming at 560theanswer.com on the AM 560 mobile app, or tell your smart speaker to play The Answer Chicago.
Good morning. 13 degrees in Chicago and AM 560 The Answer. I'm John Cruz. A deep freeze settling in. We'll see the sun this morning, but more snow later today, high hitting 24. President Trump warning the Iranian regime not to rebuild its nuclear program. His warning coming just months after the U.S. bombed 3 Iranian nuclear facilities. Meanwhile, President Trump on Monday hosting Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, discussing phase 2 of the ceasefire agreement in Gaza. New charges for a man accused of hitting 2 CPD officers with a stolen vehicle. Police say a squad car going south in Racine Monday was hit by a Hyundai Elantra going through a stop sign. Those 2 officers are recovering from serious injuries. The driver of the stolen Hyundai ended up in critical condition and in custody. And 19th-ranked Illinois handled Southern 90-55 in its non-conference finale last night at State Farm Center. Jake Davis scoring a team-high 15 points on 5 3-pointers in the win. Illinois returns to Big Ten play this Saturday in Philadelphia to face Penn State. They support a service of the AM 560 Advantage. Membership has its privileges, including early access to event tickets, exclusive contest opportunities, and special members-only content. Join today at 560theanswer.com/join. We're checking roads in 2 minutes on AM 560, The Answer.
Mike Gallagher stands up to the bullies.
I think this boils down to recognizing the actual evil that we're facing. It is absolute evil to attack Erica Kirk. There's no gray area here. You want to sit around and attack a grieving widow who just months ago lost her husband. You're rotten to the core. Your soul is gone.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9 on AM 560, The Answer.
It's Reveille. At the end of the year, most news outlets and pundits will reflect on the biggest events of the year, and in 2025, there have been some whoppers. In fact, many events in 2025 will have ramifications for decades to come. Top of the list is the political assassination of Charlie Kirk. His murder, witnessed in person by thousands and viewed online by millions, was the result of over a decade of leftists getting away with their intolerant behavior toward conservatives. No more. The movement Charlie started is stronger now, and as alternative media becomes the primary way people get their news, political dynamics in this country are changing. Other big events run the gamut from Trump completely closing the border to the debunking of the climate change scare, DEI initiatives, and the transgender agenda. In Illinois, one of the top stories was the conviction and sentencing of Mike Madigan, who spent Christmas behind bars. Then there are the stories that the media ignored, choosing to report on them initially but not pursue them relentlessly. While they persistently covered leftist protests and stories of illegals getting deported, they ignored much more important stories, such as the murder of Katie Abraham and Chloe Polzin by a previously deported illegal alien. The Abrahams' plea for accountability has been met with silence by both Pritzker and the media. The city of Harvey passing a resolution stating they are insolvent and require financial oversight by the state. Other towns are in the same boat. The Somali fraud. While Minneapolis has been ground zero in the revelation of taxpayer fraud, this type of fraud is happening elsewhere. Illinois taxpayers are paying for similar services with no accountability. Information is power. In 2026, we won't stop talking about these stories and hope you share them with others. I'm Jeannie Ives. Listen to The Real Story Sunday from 7 to 9 p.m. and sign up for my newsletter at breakthrough-ideas.com.
Start the new year off on a healthier note by taking Active Liver Supplements from New Nordic every day. Available online at Amazon or newnordicusa.com or at your local CVS, ShopRite, Meijer Grocery, or Wegmans.
Taking a look at the roads from the Team Hochberg Traffic Center, I'm Sue Aller. We're looking at treacherous road conditions right now, so be careful. Got a crash taking down 3 lanes on the inbound Dan Ryan at Canalport Avenue. So it's 27 minutes both ways from 95th to the Burn Interchange, then the Tri-State southbound at Ridgeland Avenue. You have a collision blocking the left lane. On I-57 inbound at 127th Street, a car slid off the roadway and into a wall, and then an accident takes out the left lane on the outbound Jane Addams at Mannheim Road. Inbound Eisenhower from Wolf to the old post office, 34 minutes. Outbound is 21, and the Stevenson from the Tri-State to Lakeshore is 39 minutes inbound. Outbound is 36. This report is sponsored by USA Fencing. Ever want to try an Olympic or Paralympic sport? Try fencing. It's fast, safe, and easy to start. Find a beginner class near you at usafencing.org/tryfencing. That's usafencing.org/tryfencing. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, but now we're checking your forecast from the National Weather Service.
Today will be chilly with a mix of sunshine and clouds. Later in the day, we can expect intermittent snow and flurries, but with little to no accumulation. Please be cautious of slippery spots. The high will reach 26. Tonight, it'll be breezy with some early snow, then mostly cloudy with a low of 22. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
AM 560, Chicago's Morning Answer. Chris Crock and for Dan Proft. Always love talking to Mark Lennon from Wire Points. Mark, thank you for joining us again on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Thanks for having me back.
Absolutely. I want your reaction to Fox 32 was saying that it was a sneaky kind of a stealth type of a school board meeting where they raised our taxes to the fullest possible amount, $25 million. I want your reaction on how they did this, but then also I got to play this for you. This is CPS board member Norma Rios Sierra. This is so unbelievable, this mindset.
We are not in a position to say no to money. We have charter schools closing left and right. We have federal funding that's being taken away. We have to do what's right for our students.
We are not in the position to say no to money. What's your reaction to that, and what do you think about that board, Chicago Public School board meeting that was kind of stealth, according to Fox 32?
It's just astonishing, and hopefully the other media will pick this up. Fox 32 covered it. I think that's the only one that I've seen so far. Mm-hmm. But that's been their attitude all along, and that's how you get up to $33,000 a year, which is an unheard of amount per year per student to be paying. And it's just a piggy bank that taxpayers are being used as to throw money at schools. You're not getting results. Money being thrown at schools does not automatically get results, especially in Chicago. Hopefully this is the year that people are finally waking up to this. And by the way, it's the media's refusal to cover many of these things that's underlies a big part of why taxpayers and voters have been so far behind the curve. Jeannie Ives, you just ran a piece from Jeannie Ives outlining all the stories that were ignored by the regular media, and that's the fundamental source of the problem.
Here's two more of these CPS board members. They're also almost as comical and ridiculous and offensive. Here's Deborah Pope, a CPS board member.
This tax levy is a very minimal amount. Someone with a $500,000 home is going to be paying what they would pay for going out for fast food once.
Listen to this mindset. They are bleeding us dry as much as they can. And, but this is just a fast food meal. It's like we're on the ground. We've been kicked, and now they're going to we can kick you a little bit more and get a little bit more out of your pocket. This mindset is incredible.
These people are not capable of running anything. That's a central problem as well. I got fundamental problems with a mostly elected school board, and we ought to have professionals that have some financial sense running these schools. The buck, by the way, on this stops in Springfield. Chicago is an instrumentality of the state. It could change virtually anything about the city if it wanted to, and they do nothing. They stand aside and do nothing as Chicago has gone down the drain, and it's only going to get worse.
Hey, I got a question for you. What are your comments or thoughts, your confidence on how safer things are going to go on New Year's Eve, where you have Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve for the first time since the 70s, having Chicago involved in the nighttime, the New Year's Eve production. And what are your thoughts about, especially in view of the Christmas tree lighting ceremony with the thugs and shooting all these kids, and the 14-year-old murdered? And then what about Brandon Johnson tying that into with him saying, a curfew now is okay for one night? How do you think this is going to play out for the night of? How much confidence do you have in it being safe?
I just wouldn't go up there. I heard Tom, the police chief, on your show just a little bit ago. I totally agree with him. I live in the city. I live in Streeterville, not far from where a lot of that stuff will be going on. I'd like to go out maybe on New Year's Eve, but I sure wouldn't go wandering around downtown. Yeah, we've made progress, as many cities have, on lowering the crime rate, but it's just too dangerous. This is, I'm really glad that crime has become a top issue across the state, really. Candidates are saying it's a major issue. I don't care if it's up or down. This is a long-term problem that we've got to solve, and it's part of how Chicago has to be restored. You got to make these cities safe if you want to revive them.
Okay, so we also have this. We have from Austin Berg, one of his tweets, Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson claims the Washington Post is a threat to democracy after the editorial board suggested a more responsible city budget with structural reforms. And you look at this from the Washington Post, quote, the best that can be said about the mayor's plan for the Chicago's budget is that it's better than what was on the table. This package does nothing to address the core reasons Chicago perennially finds itself in this mess. The city needs a more muscular budget process, including a stronger independent budget office. It needs to rein in borrowing, but the city also needs the option to declare bankruptcy, including the ability to reduce future pension benefits, if only to reduce incentives for unions to make crazy demands. Quote, what this really means is Chicago needs more politicians who treat budgeting as a way to plan for the future rather than an opportunity to steal from it. So, what's more of a threat to democracy? It's so funny the mayor says that about a liberal newspaper. What's more of a threat to democracy? His high taxation, his profligate spending, his pro-crime policies, or exposing his irresponsible budget?
Yeah, and the violence that gets stoked up by saying crazy things like that the Nazis are taking over and the Washington Post is undermining democracy. I mean, come on, those two Washington Post stories about Chicago that were critical really didn't say anything new. They just outline what you and I and everybody have in the regular press have been saying for years. But they get attention because it was the Washington Post. Their editorial pages have kind of cleaned up their act recently. They've become more centrist, not the news pages. There was a lot in what you just read, by the way. Pensions we don't talk about much anymore because Springfield has just decided to ignore it. They've been kind of flat the past few years because of these remarkable years that we've had in the stock market, running up over 20% over the last few years. That has kept them flat, but it remains an albatross around the state. It's a 20% of the state budget. Is like a big dead weight around the state, which is why we don't become competitive again. And in Chicago, it's even worse. Those things, some of the apologists are saying they're stable. Well, the Titanic has been stable for some, 90 years too at the bottom of the ocean. It doesn't. That's really the situation we're in, and the problem just gets ignored again. That's Springfield's bailiwick entirely.
I want to read a little bit more off of this. One of the other editorials from the Washington Post. Chicago needs structural changes, not just a better budget. The city council curbed the worst elements of Mayor Brandon Johnson's proposal. This is such a spanking, a much-needed spanking. Talked about the council passed an alternative budget over the weekend that discards some of the mayor's worst ideas. It's not ideal, but in a city where aldermen have typically allowed mayors to get their way, the council deserves credit for showing spine. Johnson's proposal leaned heavily on gimmicks. I could see him burning up reading this. The corporate head tax, effectively punishing firms for creating jobs. It epitomized the sort of short-term thinking that got America's third largest city into this current predicament. And then the core reasons Chicago perennially finds itself in this mess: stagnant growth, out of control spending, and underfunded pensions. Any further comments on that?
Yeah, and rating those TIFs is the big one. That's not a recurring revenue source, and it's a clear sign that this problem is going to be there again next year. All arrows are pointing at things getting worse. And nobody is taking this seriously enough yet. This is a very bad situation for Chicago, and it's going to get worse.
Tom Bevan from Real Clear Politics. I follow him. I love his commentary on Twitter, X, whatever. He says, still no coverage in the New York Times, Washington Post, CNN, or the Minneapolis Star-Tribune of massive fraud being uncovered in Minnesota. The media's willingness to ignore stories that hurt Democrats is truly astonishing. What is your thoughts? I know you're a Chicago and Illinois-centric outlet, which is just fantastic. Wire Points is my favorite. But what are your thoughts sitting from your perch in Streeterville to what's happening in Minneapolis, St. Paul with the fraud? And tell me what you think about with Illinois and Chicago. Is there anything this makes you think about with levels of fraud or things that are similar in some way in Chicago and Illinois?
First, you can't emphasize enough the importance of what Bevan was talking about. And I added on to that tweet where he put that on there. Same for the Tribune and the Sun-Times, except for, I think, one editorial in the Tribune. And again, the editorial side is different from the news side.
Right.
The news side is horrible. But except for one editorial in the Tribune, there has been no coverage of this Minnesota fraud story, which is one of the biggest frauds in the nation's history. So, don't underestimate. There's a lot of people out there that don't listen to AM 560, don't read Wire Points. So they don't know what's going on. They have no idea. There's two different worlds here, and that is a central problem. As I was just saying, and as Jeannie Ives recited there, this is reflects kind of the problem with fraud in Chicago. You know, the biggest fraud problem, by the way, was the unemployment compensation fraud that occurred immediately post-COVID that ran through all the states. Illinois is one of the worst offenders. Most of the offenders have never been prosecuted or brought to trial. In dollar terms, that's even bigger than the Minnesota thing. We've let that story get dropped aside, too.
I know you already kind of covered this a second ago, but I want to hit this again. Why do you think all these outlets are not reporting the fraud in Minnesota? New York Times, Washington Post, CNN, Minneapolis Star-Tribune, and like you said, the Tribune, as far as the news side, and certainly not the Sun-Times. Why do you think they're not reporting this?
Because they're lefties with a political agenda, for the most part, and they want to cover up any stories that would be embarrassing to the Democrats, especially somebody as prominent as Tim Walz. I've been following this for years closely. We curate the news very carefully every day, and that's my primary conclusion about the motivation behind most of those people that do this in the traditional media, is that they are ideologues for the left. And they sacrifice even their business interests. You know, the people who ought to be interested in this, the Tribune, are the owners, Alden Capital. It's a venture capital firm. You know, they basically more than half of Illinois and Chicago is centrist or right-leaning. They've written off that audience. You know, just scraped them off from their addressable market. This is stupid business as well as bad journalism.
Now, I know that your forte is more obviously Chicago and Illinois. However, from your perch, Tim Walz, do you think he'll make it? I mean, first of all, it's an unprecedented, never before attempted third term for a Minnesota governor in their history. But number two, do you think he'll actually make it? I'm predicting he won't. He'll drop out, make up some BS excuse maybe before the campaign is over with at some point. Do you actually think he's going to make it based on your thoughts on this and where you're sitting from?
Is going to make it. The scope of this is so large.
Can you say it again? You cut off at the very beginning. Can you repeat your beginning part there?
Yeah, I don't think he's going to make it. I think the scope of this is so large that it's going to become very apparent that the politicians in Minnesota knew all about this, and they were just playing to get the political approval of the Somali bloc of voters. And they went to that extent of closing their eyes to this fraud. I think that's apparent already, plainly apparent. But this story is not going to get away, and that'll eventually sink in to the public, and they'll get Walz for it.
Mark, I'm literally watching everything, and I think they're tap dancing, all the officials in Minnesota around this, and they're hoping and praying, like white knuckling, thinking that they can actually get through this, that somehow we won't find out everything, and they're running around trying to patch up little holes on a massive wall that's about to burst. Is that what you're seeing from your place as well, where you're sitting?
Yeah, and that's kind of hopefully kind of a microcosm about a lot of stories that the dam is going to burst on these things, and eventually you'll have people in the press, for example, that have been covering this up say, I can't do this anymore. We just can't cover up this nonsense that's been going on in the left. It's destroying the country. It's suicidal. It's the radical left that has to be stopped. And, Minnesota, I actually follow pretty closely because I've had family up there. I used to live there myself. Okay. And they've gone totally nuts up there. And that'll be interesting to see if even they wake up. They'll probably be last to do so, but hopefully the rest of the country will. Somebody said, you live in interesting times, boy. we sure do with all that's going on.
Last quick question on this. How bad do you think, I know you've kind of given us the idea of the scope, but how bad do you think the Medicaid, feeding children, daycare, SBA loans are? I mean, what would you guess? We know that $9 billion is perhaps the scope right now of the Medicaid fraud. We know that feeding children, I believe it is $250 million approximately of fraud estimated. Daycare might be, I think, $500 million if I'm not mistaken. SBA loans are another massive chunk. If you had to, I mean, put a number or whatever, I mean, what do you think this is going to end out at? If you had to just take a wild guess here.
And Snap, I wouldn't venture a guess at that because I haven't attempted to. Mm-hmm. Add up all those different pots, but it's hundreds of billions. It is, a very material problem. We've got a federal system that's been riddled with fraud, and statewide too. It's states, it's this federal money mostly at issue in Minnesota and other places that's getting dispersed by the states, but we all pay for it.
One last quick question also on this. I wanted to hit. Compare in a quick way here. I know we got to go. Compare in a very quick way Chicago and Illinois versus the fraud we're seeing there. I mean, are we way worse? Are we the same? Compare us and them.
We don't know because the big unknown is these hundreds and hundreds of nonprofits that get line items in the budget every year that have gone mostly uninvestigated. There's a lot of crap out there. We're trying to get on top of this. It's a huge project because you almost have to investigate one after another. But this is a very serious issue, and you can expect to hear more about it as we dig into this. Not just we, but there's other people looking at it too. But this is a huge problem. Hundreds and hundreds of nonprofits getting billions of dollars in Illinois for various causes that are mostly just political payola, and they're not doing anything.
Mark Glennon, founder of WirePoints, his Substack is at Mark Glennon. There's 2 N's and then 1 N. Mark Glennon, thank you very much for joining us once again from WirePoints. We really appreciate everything you do with journalism.
Yeah, thank you. Take care.
All right, man. You have a great day. All right, coming up next, we have it is quite possible that President Trump, since he is not allowed, according to the courts, to deploy the National Guard right now, that he will deploy perhaps the Marines, 82nd Airborne, 101st Airborne to the streets of Chicago. Is that something you're on board with? And also, you can hear some expert opinion on that from our local, from the national news with John Yoo, former top Bush U.S. Attorney, Assistant U.S. Attorney, I believe. No, not U.S. Attorney. Attorney General for the state, the country, not the state. Also, it's very interesting. The state of Illinois and its officials, they said marijuana is great, legalize it. They get you high, but now they want to take away your gun after they get you high. All that's coming up next. Chris Kroc and Dan Proft. This is AM 560, The Answer, Chicago's Morning Answer.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
So the body knows that it needs to heal itself, but it doesn't know how to concentrate it and target it into just one area. So that's where we come in.
By we, Dr. Ashley Caravelli means the nation's leader in regenerative medicine, QC Kinetics.
We put in those treatments, then it sends out like little signalers to your body. We're able to make the body focus on the areas that need the most healing.
QC Kinetics has gathered brilliant medical minds like Dr. Caravelli and Dr. Mitchell Scheinkup, a pioneer in the field of regenerative medicine, to lead the way in these innovative pain treatments.
So at QC Kinetics, we have a whole team working nationwide with cutting-edge research to reach our patients and treat them and know that surgery is no longer their only option.
The consultation is free. Find out if you're a candidate. Call QC Kinetics today.
Call QC Kinetics, 312-827-6261. That's 312-827-6261. 312-827-6261.
Hello, this is Alistair Begg. In September of 2026, I'll be teaching the Bible as we cruise through the Norwegian fjords. I'd love for you to join me. Call 855-565-5519 or visit deeperfaithcruise.com.
News, opinion, insight. This is AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago. Streaming at 560theanswer.com on the AM 560 mobile app or tell your smart speaker to play The Answer Chicago.
Another push for peace in Ukraine. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. European leaders meet virtually today discussing the U.S. brokered plan to stop Russia's war amid a new war of words, with Ukraine denying Russian allegations of a drone attack purporting to target leader Vladimir Putin's residence. The same day, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky met with President Trump at his Mar-a-Lago resort in Florida, and after those talks, Zelensky sat down with Fox's Brett Baer, who asked, can Ukraine survive the war without U.S. support?
No, because we can't. First, we will think about all the soldiers, will think only about their families. And without American support, we can't defend this guy.
Zelensky also tells Special Report he supports 90% of the peace plan, one big issue in dispute giving up territory to Russia. President Trump has a warning for Hamas.
If they don't disarm, as they agreed to do, they agreed to it, and then they'll be held to pay.
He said that at his Florida resort after meeting with Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, discussing Phase 2 of the Gaza ceasefire. And they also talked about Iran, months after U.S. and Israeli attacks targeting nuclear and missile sites.
There's evidence, President Trump says, that Iran may be behaving badly.
It hasn't been confirmed, but if it's confirmed, look, they know the consequences. Consequences will be very powerful.
The president says if Iran attempts to restart its nuclear weapons program, he'd order additional U.S. strikes on the country.
That's Fox's Jared Halpern. The U.S. military has blown up another drug trafficking boat off Venezuela's coast, killing another 2 alleged narco-terrorists after the first strike on land that President Trump now says took out a dock where they load drugs on boats.
The president first shared details about that strike during a radio interview last week. He was still short on the details when he was pressed about the incident yesterday, refusing to say whether it was carried out by the military or CIA.
Fox's Madeline Rivera. The U.S. military has put out a statement. They've captured or killed about 24 ISIS operatives in Syria since the December 19th strike that targeted terrorists there. America's listening to Fox News.
Good morning, 12 degrees in Chicago on AM 560 The Answer. I'm John Cruz in the AlmostFreeTeeth.com newsroom. Snow returns this afternoon, a high temp around 24. A recycling facility on Chicago's west side damaged after a fire. Crews battling the blaze late yesterday at Central Metal Recycling on West Fillmore Street. No word on injuries, the cause under investigation. The Chicago Board of Education raising property taxes to help ease some of the financial burdens. Board member Debbie Pope says the tax hike is minimal.
Someone with a $500,000 home is going to be paying what they would pay for going out for fast food once.
The school board voted yesterday to slightly increase its property tax levy. That move expected to free up about $20 to $25 million for the school district. A taxpayer with about a $250,000 home will be paying about $8 more next year. An investigation underway after police finding 25,000 pounds of stolen protein powder in suburban Bridgeview last week. That discovery made at a warehouse in the southwest suburb after a supply chain company reported a large shipment of Seek protein powder was missing. The stolen powder, estimated to be worth about $500,000, no arrests have been made. A number of new taxes go into effect for Chicago next year. They include a checkout bag tax, which will charge 15 cents per checkout bag sold or used in the city. There will also be a social media amusement tax and an internet and mobile sports wagering amusement tax. Anyone using rideshare services in a congestion zone will be charged a tax as well. And police searching for 2 Chicago sisters who were last seen Christmas Eve. They were spotted recently in the 9000 block of South Dauphin Avenue. Authorities say the 17-year-old Amaya Clark and her 15-year-old sibling Ayana were on their way to west suburban Naperville. Anyone with information on the 2 sisters' whereabouts asked to call 911. This report, a service of AlmostFreeTeeth.com. Big savings on full mount dental implants are here at AlmostFreeTeeth.com. Medical insurance can make what used to cost a fortune surprisingly affordable. Don't wait. Take the 60-second quiz to see if you qualify at AlmostFreeTeeth.com. I'm John Cruz. We're checking roads coming up in 2 minutes. Time now for the AM 560 Business Beat, a service of Signature Bank.
I'm Charles Payne, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Intel shares are in positive territory after NVIDIA completes its strategic investment, finalizing its $5 billion stake in Intel under a September agreement. According to this week's filing, the world's most valuable firm has bought over 214.7 million Intel shares at the price set out in the September agreement. U.S. antitrust agencies had cleared NVIDIA's investment in Intel, according to a notice posted by the FTC earlier in the month. Applied Digital shares up in the pre-market after the company announced it would spin off its cloud business and combine it with Exobionics. And aerospace giant Boeing shares are up slightly after the U.S. Air Force awarded it an $8.58 billion contract to build fighter jets for Israel's military. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Lillian Wu, invested in you.
Scott Jennings sees the left admitting failure.
Big story in the New York Times. Headline, How Biden Ignored Warnings and Lost Americans' Faith on Immigration and Helped Return Donald Trump to the White House. It's amazing to see even the New York Times admitting the failures of Joe Biden on immigration, even though it's a little too late to do anything about it now.
The Scott Jennings Show. Weekdays at 1, right before Hugh Hewitt at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Want to see if you could pay less in taxes? Try the quick and easy tax calculator at willsave.com. Yes, a free tax calculator. That's WILSAVE.com. Calculate how you could keep more of your hard-earned money and give less to Uncle Sam, especially in retirement. Get your free tax analysis today at willsave.com. And don't forget to tune in to Protecting Your Assets with Steve Shyman every Saturday morning at 8, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
10 athletes will face the toughest job interview in fitness that will push past physical and mental breaking points. You are the fittest of the fit. Only one of you will leave here with an iFit contract for $250,000.
This is when mindset comes in.
Someone will be eliminated.
Pressure is coming down.
Trainer Games on Prime Video January 8th. Watch the trailer on trainergames.com.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband Ryan died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ETHOS.com/term.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required. Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-393-1881. That's 800-393-1881. 800-393-1881.
If you or someone you love are getting high quotes for dental implants, visit almostfreeteeth.com today. With a medical PPO insurance plan, it's possible to save 90% off on average to be able to smile again. Check if you qualify now at almostfreeteeth.com.
Taking a look at the roads from the Team Hochberg Traffic Center, I'm Sue Aller. In great shape on the Eden, 15 minutes both ways from Lake Cook to Montrose. The Kennedy also looks good inbound from O'Hare to the Burton Interchange, 19 minutes. Outbound is 23. 14 minutes both ways on the Eisenhower from Wolf to the old post office. But outbound, there is a stall at Sacramento Boulevard. No problems to tell you about on the Stevenson from the Tri-State to Lakeshore, 17 minutes inbound. Outbound is 16. And the Dan Ryan looks good from 95th to the Burton Interchange. change. Inbound is 14, outbound is 11. In downtown, Franklin Street is closed for tonight's New Year's Eve fireworks celebration between Lake Street and Wacker Drive. This report is a service of the Daily Podcast of Chicago's Morning Answer and the Sean Thompson Show. Hear both shows with limited commercials when you subscribe for free to the Daily Podcast at 560theanswer.com/podcast. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, but now a check of your forecast from the National Weather Service.
Today, expect chilly temperatures with a mix of sun and clouds transitioning to intermittent snow and flurries in the afternoon. There will be little to no snow accumulation, but watch out for slippery spots. The high will reach 26. Tonight, it will be breezy in the evening with some light snow early on, then mostly cloudy with a low of 22. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft on AM 560, The Answer.
I really am looking forward to talking to this gentleman, although I assume he's a gentleman. We'll find out. On the trucking and the illegals, this is a very serious and very big thing in my book. This is AM 560, The Answer, Chicago's Morning Answer. Chris Crock in for Dan Proft. He's back after the holidays. I get to be with you today, then again on Friday. Our number, of course, 312-642-5600. This safer highways start with enforcement of training standards in the Washington Examiner. And we're going to have on now Andy Polyakov. Is that right? Polyakov, right, Andy?
Good morning to you. Yeah, Polyakov.
Okay, Polyakov. Thank you. Good Russian name, probably. Am I accurate on that?
From about 120 years ago. You got
There we go. Executive Director of the Commercial Vehicle Training Association, CVTA. All right, how dangerous are these vehicles? Because the biggest thing that I've seen in all this with illegals and driving big rigs. Number one, in the Panhandle of Texas, they did a sting with ICE, and they found about 30% of all the truckers that they pulled over and did an inspection on are illegals. Wyoming, a sheriff up there did a sting, and it was about 33% of the truckers. Oklahoma did a sting. They pulled over every trucker. On the first day, they had so many truckers that got busted, they had to shut it down. After 3 hours, they got 7 trucks impounded, and the lot was full. 3 days later, they come back. They have a much bigger lot, 17 trucks in one day. By the end of the week, all the illegals were rerouting around Oklahoma. We see a death in Florida, allegedly at the hands of an illegal driving a truck, doing a freaking jackknife, like a U-turn.
Yep.
And you see a minivan or something of that nature go right underneath his cab, or not his cab, but what's that called? The trailer. And and they go underneath the trailer, and he's looking at it like he's staring at roadkill, like everything's kind of normal, just kind of like, that's interesting. We have separately in California another illegal who allegedly is driving intoxicated and is at full bore speed or something of that nature, fast, coming in on stop-and-go traffic, slamming into cars, crushing, and it's disintegrating and blowing up one of these cars, killing a beloved local high school basketball coach. Up in Portland, Oregon, just north of Portland, I fill in there regularly too, and it happened on Thanksgiving, and I said, that's got to be an illegal. Something bad happened on the road with a truck, and 2 people died, and came out a week or 2 ago. That person is illegal, too. They're killing us all over the place. How dangerous are these vehicles, first of all? How heavy are they? How hard are they to stop before we even get into the illegals driving them?
Yeah, absolutely. 80,000 pounds, and they are missiles. And in the hands of someone who isn't properly trained or is just out to lunch, I mean, they are absolutely deadly. And I really appreciate you laying all of that out there in terms of, the exposure and sort of the transparency and awareness that's going on in the nation based on some of these tragedies. And no one, I mean, these are tragic events. I'm hopeful, though, and there are some strong indicators that under the leadership of Secretary of Transportation Sean Duffy, that a lot is happening, though, because of this. Transparency, sunlight is really the best disinfectant. And we are now seeing, the curtains thrown open, and we are seeing a whole lot of sunlight and a whole lot of cooperation and participation all across the nation because of the understanding of this. So just to give you a little bit of background, I work for the Commercial Vehicle Training Association. It's the largest association of professional truck driver training programs in the United States. In order to become a member of our organization, you have to pass through an oversight committee, submit your curriculum, your course outline, do an interview. You have to be one of the good ones. But what we've seen across the nation for some time now is a proliferation of these, 2-day training, 3-day training schools, absolutely abysmal CDL mills. And what we're seeing now is because of the rise in understanding across the country of these tragic events, we are seeing good folks like the Secretary of Transportation and the head of the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, Administrator Chief Bars. We're seeing folks like that really take this front and center and crack down on these CDL mills. And I want to give folks out there a piece of good news is that amid all these tragedies and, terrible events, we saw at the beginning of December, for the first time in the almost 4 years of these rules being in effect across the nation, of the enforcement of these training standards, we saw boots on the ground, in-person random audits of over 1,500 locations all across the country.
Thank God.
I'm pleased to say that CVTA schools passed with flying colors, but to these 2-day training, 3-day training organizations, whatever you want to call them, CDL mills, they were running for cover, and that's the sunlight, and that's really what's going on. It's a pity that it's due to all of these tragedies, but we're hopeful that this is going to bring awareness to all of this across many different areas that need oversight.
On these CDL mills, commercial driver license mills, don't we know who they are, and why can't we shut them freaking down? They're killing us on our roads and letting illegals who don't speak English. They have no business having a driver license in most states. They certainly have no business having a commercial driver license. I assume you can't be an illegal and get a CDL. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but let me finish up real fast. And then let alone they don't speak English. How come we can't shut these places down?
Well, so a lot of it has been the fact that, when you come up with the federal regulation, and I'm here right outside of Washington, D.C., and, there are a lot of good intentions that go on in the congressional space and in the regulatory space here, but things take often a long time to get up and running, especially in the federal government in terms of regulations, and that can be a good thing or a bad thing. And in this instance, here's an area where we're coming up on the 4-year anniversary of what's called ELDT, or the entry-level driver training regulations. Those have been enforceable federal law for almost 4 years, and yet we did not see action. Okay, that's what the Commercial Vehicle Training Association, CVTA, we've been working on with our task force for 4 years, if not more, in order to try and persuade the federal government to actually enforce the rules that were on the books. Okay, and what's happened is, from afar, from Washington, D.C., federal agencies weren't able to sort of put together a game plan for actual oversight. And it took, some of these tragedies that you described earlier in the conversation for, just the impetus and the energy to come about. And that's why we're grateful to see the actions on the part of the Secretary of Transportation. But it takes real action to do something. You have to do these boots on the ground audits. You can't just sit there in Washington, D.C. and imagine that just because you have some electronic database, you necessarily can really oversee or regulate an industry properly. So that's, and one of the things I will say, I give big credit to the head of the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, Administrator Bars. He has a 20-year background with the Florida Highway Patrol. Right. And so him coming into that role within USDOT, I think makes a big difference. Someone with a law enforcement background. These aren't guys who just want to sit, in an office in Washington, D.C. and sort of hope for the best. They are saying, it was extraordinary to see over 1,500 in-person boots-on-the-ground audits conducted by the U.S. DOT with over 300 inspectors. I mean, this is what we need, and it's what we're seeing.
Sean Duffy does look like he's been doing an incredible job from where I sit. You agree too, pretty much?
Oh, absolutely. Former prosecutor. I think that's what you need in this sort of spaces. He's a former prosecutor. You have Administrator Bars, who's 20 years as the chief of the Highway Patrol there in Florida. And so both of those people coming together, I think, is a real synergy in terms of them just saying, we're not just going to sit here in Washington, D.C. and check boxes. We're going to get it done.
Andy Polikoff, Executive Director of the Commercial Vehicle Training Association. I have a lot more that I want to talk to you about. 52% of New Yorkers, New York CDLs are to illegals, is something I heard from, I believe, from Secretary Duffy. Also, we're seeing that 20 these illegals from India are suing California and the government for taking away their CDLs. I mean, this is laughable. Is that accurate? An accurate figure for New York? Second of all, my estimations, as I mentioned to you earlier, about 30% of all CDL drivers could be illegals right now on our roads. You tell me what you think about that. And then this lawsuit from Indian illegals is laughable. There's no way they're going to do anything on this. Is that right from where you sit too?
Yeah, let's hit the first one first. I think the critical thing here is that what we've seen, especially in the space that we work in commercial vehicle training and licensing, that has a lot of nexus to that, obviously. And so what you see is that, again, under this current administration, especially because of the executive order that the Trump administration put out some months ago on English language proficiency, you saw an audit process initiated by the federal government under the Secretary of Transportation. And that's where you've started to see some of these shocking data figures like the one you're referencing in New York, where the federal government, the U.S. DOT, has come in and done audits on the state driver's license agencies and found that, yes, there have been, not a lot of attention paid necessarily to the practices and, activities of these licensing, agencies within the states. Now, there are a lot of great people at these state licensing agencies that care deeply about making sure that things are done right. But, there are instances where, for a variety of reasons, we've seen, yes, people who have had their, authorization to be in the United States legally that was about to expire or had already expired, granted, I think it was in New York, an 8-year commercial driver's license. Like, what? That's just lunacy, right? And so you've seen that as a result of, arguments between U.S. DOT and California, in New York and other locations. And then the threat of and the actual, withholding of funds by the federal government to these states if they don't either enforce English language proficiency appropriately or, get their licensing operations under, really, more tightly in bound. And I think this is something that we have been pounding the table on at CVTA for years. We have seen this proliferation of these CDL mills, these bad actor organizations that offer 2-day training, 3-day training. And this is essentially just all part of the same need for actual oversight and actual will.
Question: Why aren't we shutting these CDL mills where illegals are getting driver licenses, CDLs, in a day or two? Why aren't we shutting them down? Why can't we shut them down if we're trying to? And this is a huge question for you. Are illegals, which appear to be as many as 30% of the drivers from my estimate for CDLs, are illegals undercutting truckers' pay? And who are they hauling for that is apparently knowingly hiring illegals to drive, 80,000 pounds on a road that could kill one of us and is killing people all over this country?
Well, there are hundreds of thousands of motor carriers that are listed on the rosters with the FMCSA. And I think it is absolutely remarkable the amount of lack oversight that has gone on in this space for years and years, if not decades, right? This. I mean, let me give you some background. It was 2012 that the industry came together to push Congress to create minimum training standards. Then in 2015, it finally made its way to the USDOT, and you had insurance companies, motor carriers, training organizations, safety advocates, everyone come together. So that was, 3 years later. Then it took almost 7 years from that, right? So you're talking about timelines that, when you get the Congress and the federal government involved, we're almost a decade to get things in motion. That's the glacial pace that these things operate in. And it's only been because of advocacy and, forceful requests on the part of organizations in the industry that we've even begun to see the enforcement of these issues. So it is, we're in a place now. I think that if there's reason for hope, it's that, as you sort of mentioned earlier, why can't we shut these places down? In December, I will tell you that a lot of these places have been shut down, and they have been shut down by virtue of the fact that the federal government is doing boots on the ground, in-person audits of these locations, and these folks are running for cover because when you shed sunlight on people that are doing 2-day training to get your CDL, 3-day training,
it's disgusting.
They run for cover. Yeah.
Disgusting. What are these illegals doing to wages of truckers, and what about the lie? In my opinion, clearly that illegals do the jobs Americans won't do. It's off-putting. It's disgusting to me to think about that truckers. Are you kidding me? Go ahead.
No, my brother's a truck driver. He's been doing it for about 3 years now. Absolutely loves it. My brother's a good American, doing a great American job. That's the thing that gets lost in all of this discussion. And I'm glad you mention it is, this is the idea that Americans won't do this job. That's absolutely ridiculous. So this is where else can you go, and take, 4 weeks of training, 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks of training, and then walk into a job where your first year you can make $60,000, $70,000. And that's just the beginning, right? And that's what, gets so many people, I think, interested in this job. I think that's why America really understood during COVID, like, my God, we need truckers. These are patriots. These are people who are providing a great service to the nation. It's an outstanding job and a career. And I think, you are seeing folks being undercut by the proliferation of folks like those people that you saw. You referenced in Florida or in California, causing these wrecks that have absolutely no training. Who knows who's hiring? Who knows what's going on? We've all seen the videos online where they pull somebody out of a truck. They can't speak a lick of English. And, someone like that, I think we can all recognize it's not like they have a whole lot of ability to seek decent wages in the industry. And so those people are probably driving for next to nothing. They're completely illegal driving out on the road. Of course, that's going to undercut people who need to be, paid properly.
I just envision us coming home for Christmas or New Year's or coming back, and you look up at the trucker next to you and you nod. That person could be an illegal that's going to kill somebody. I appreciate you very much, Andy Polikoff, for coming on the show, Executive Director of the Commercial Training Vehicle Association. Thank you for all the work you guys do.
Chris, thanks so much, and hope you have a happy New Year.
You too, brother. Thank you very much. All right, coming up next, we are locked and loaded. Illinois lawmaker welcoming possible Marine deployment to Chicago after Supreme Court ruling. I'll explain. They get you high, the Attorney General of the state of Illinois, of course, and Kwame Raoul and Governor Pritzker. They want to get you high. Go ahead and do that, but now they want to take away your guns because you're getting high. And a Polish, iconic, landmark place that I grew up going to for years and years and years is about to be no more, and I am not happy about that. All that next. Chris Crocken for Dan Proft. This is AM 560, The Answer, Chicago's Morning Answer.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
The following advertisement includes a celebrity impersonation.
You know, nothing beats the comfort of a perfectly heated home.
And when it comes to heating your home, Air Right Heating and Cooling does it the best.
And they love our country. Beautiful people.
Air Right Heating and Cooling is fast. When your furnace breaks down, they'll fix it right away.
Just like that. Big time results. No waiting around. You get the job done right. And let's face it, who doesn't love being warm, right? It's beautiful. When it's freezing, I crank up that amazing furnace. Burn, baby, burn. Trust me, you'll say, wow, I've never felt this warm in my life.
If you like keeping your hard-earned money, then contact Air Right Heating and Cooling. Tell them AM 560 sent you, and right now you'll receive $56 off any service.
Unbelievable.
Visit Air Right Heating and Cooling today at AIR-RITE.com. Again, that's AIR-RITE.com. Air Right Heating and Cooling. Doing it right since 1959.
She's online right now, searching for answers about her unexpected pregnancy. This pregnant mom is scared, alone, and unsure what to do next. She doesn't want an abortion, but choosing life doesn't feel possible either. But there is hope. You can help her see that an abortion isn't the only option when you support Human Coalition. Your gift provides an appointment at a life-affirming pregnancy center where she'll receive a free ultrasound, compassionate care, and the resources she needs to choose life. And when she hears her baby's heartbeat, something powerful happens. Fear turns into courage, and despair turns into hope. For a one-time gift of just $26, you can help the next mom seeking an abortion choose life for her baby. You can save them both from an abortion as you share the love of Christ through your generosity. To give a gift, go to humancoalition.org/life. That's humancoalition.org/life.
Every morning, across Latin America and the Caribbean, a mother wakes to the sound of her child crying, not from play, but from hunger. She has nothing to give, no breakfast, no clean water, only a prayer that today will somehow be different. You can be the answer to that prayer. Right now, through 560 The Answer and Food for the Poor, your generosity provides what every child deserves: food to eat, clean water to drink, and a future filled with hope. Just $150 gives 2 children life's most basic needs, food and water. $300 helps 4 children survive and thrive. So please, take a moment today to act. Click the blue Give Food, Water, Life banner at 560theanswer.com. That's 560theanswer.com. Because when you give, you're not just feeding a child, you're giving life. Do it now. Click the blue Give Food, Water, Life banner at 560theanswer.com.
You need a construction company, but who?
Call Croscom.
A construction company you can trust that shares your Christian and conservative values. For decades, Croscom has been doing work in Chicagoland, Northwest Indiana, and Wisconsin. Roofs, siding, windows, doors, gutters, basically everything for your home or business, even solar. Quality work and professional services that make you feel great about your decision to work with Croscom.
Call Croscom.
630-871-5500. Give them a chance to earn your business. If your repairs are due to storm, fire, or flood damage, you need to
call Croscom.
They're licensed public adjusters. They work for you, not the insurance company. Croscom will work to get you the money you deserve, the maximum payout. They know the insurance companies and how to deal with them. They win for you.
Call Croscom.
Croscom Construction and Public Adjusters.
This is Dan Lights with Croscom. You can trust us with your home or business for high-quality work and fair prices. It's the only way we do business.
630-871-5500. CroscomPublicAdjusters.com.
At Terra Vista of Oakbrook Terrace, dementia care isn't just what we do, it's all we do. We specialize in caring for those with Alzheimer's and other types of dementia. We're on the forefront of dementia care with a barrier-free, stress-free environment, so residents can explore safely and feel at home. But what truly sets Terra Vista apart? Personalized care. We take the time to learn each resident's story, where they lived, their routines, former careers, even the names of family members. Anyone who interacts with your loved one can immediately make them feel comfortable and understood. We meet our residents right where they are. Residents stay strong and engaged with multi-sensory activities, music, art, horticulture, our beautiful 18,000 square foot outdoor space, and even a personal trainer. At Terra Vista, residents aren't defined by their dementia. We honor the whole person. Speak to an advisor or schedule a tour today at terravista.org. Again, that's terravista.org, and tell them AM 560 sent you.
It's
It's news, opinion, and insight at the speed of your life. Streaming at 560theanswer.com on the AM 560 mobile app, or tell your smart speaker to play The Answer Chicago.
Good morning, 12 degrees in Chicago on AM 560 The Answer. I'm John Cruz in the Signature Bank newsroom. Partly sunny to start your day, calmer winds, but snow is back this afternoon. A reported U.S. land strike inside Venezuela. It was said to be a drone strike reportedly carried out by the CIA. President Trump only saying the U.S. hit a dock in Venezuela. The U.S. has hit dozens of alleged drug boats, including one yesterday that killed 2 people. That brings the death toll to 107 people. The CPS board voting for a property tax hike to help combat a budget deficit next year. It's a small amount, but some board members say the amount is still too much during a time when residents' property tax assessments are way up. CPS allowed to raise that rate Monday's vote to raise it to the legal limit. And Mayor Johnson may have some company in the upcoming election. Illinois Congressman Mike Quigley may run for mayor of Chicago in 2027. The Daily Herald reports Quigley has so far raised $54,000 for a possible City Hall campaign. Cook County Treasurer Maria Pappas and entrepreneur Joe Holberg also announcing plans to run. News is a service of Signature Bank. Signature Bank puts you and your business first, delivering a better banking experience. It's Dan Proft's Business Bank. Visit signaturebank.com. We're checking traffic in 2 minutes on AM 560 The Answer.
Larry Elder wants facts in the argument.
It just drives me crazy whenever there is a mass shooting and the immediate call for people on the left to demand more gun control. Never, even on Fox, do you hear somebody say, well, let's also consider how often Americans use guns to save lives, themselves or others, or bodily injury. It just seems to me that should be relevant.
The Larry Elder Show, weeknights at 8, right before Sean Hannity at 10 on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicagoland certified financial planning professional Tim Stearns discusses taxes in retirement.
Most people are paying more in taxes and keeping less of their money to live and do what they enjoy. That's why we've put out the retirement tax bill calculator online. You can see with your own eyes just how much you might be overpaying. It's a valuable tool, $500 value, but we made it free for you to view and run your own numbers at MVPCFP.com. That's MVPCFP.com.
To run your retirement tax bill calculator, go to MVPCFP.com.
Investment advisory services offered through Cornerstone Securities, LLC.
Welcome to another edition of Tuesdays with Tim. My friend Tim Stearns, a certified financial planner with TJ Stearns Financial Planning in Arlington Heights. Tim, how are you? Welcome back.
Doing well. Thanks for having me.
Tim, for more than 25 years, you've been helping clients achieve financial security and peace of mind, which has to be rewarding. Doing it a long time. You've got a lot of success stories on a daily basis, I'm sure. Can you give our listeners an example of a family that you've helped out recently that comes to mind?
We had a 65-year-old call who had been listening to your show, and he called us and he said, he wanted to know, do I have enough assets? I'm really tired of working. I'm burnt out, etc. And he didn't know if he had the resources, and he didn't have the knowledge to get to the answer of that. So we helped him prepare a Protect and Grow blueprint. And by doing that, we helped position his money for income and cut back on the risks that they had in their current portfolio.
Thank you, Tim. If you're in your 50s or 60s, I want you to speak with my friend Tim Stearns, TJ Stearns Financial Planning. Tim will help you structure and optimize your savings to prepare for 20 to 30 years of enjoyable retirement. Call Tim today to schedule your free consultation and get your free Protect and Grow blueprint. Call 1-800-640-2256. Again, that number, 800-640-2256. Tell him I sent you when you call Tim at 800-640-2256.
Rick Borick talks about the risk of being in the stock market right near retirement.
It's easy to drive around with no seatbelt on if you never think you're going to have an accident, right? And you go, well, it's never going to go down. I don't need protection for my portfolio. We're a big fan of getting those gains, but we're also a bigger fan of not taking huge losses.
Unleash your wealth, Saturday at 7 a.m. and 2 p.m. on AM 560, The Answer.
Salem News Channel, your go-to source for news and conservative opinion. We reveal how politics hits home, how your family, your freedoms, your way of life are debated, challenged, even regulated. Every day we cut through the noise, pitting nonsense against common sense. On every screen, in every home, Salem News Channel is across America.
Taking a look at the roads from the Team Hochberg Traffic Center, I'm Sue Aller. Still in great shape inbound on the Eden from Lake Cook to Montrose, 15 minutes. Outbound is 14. No major slowdowns on the Kennedy. Inbound from O'Hare to the Byrne Interchange, 19 minutes. Outbound is 21. There is a crash on the Eisenhower inbound at Wolf Road, but it's off on the right shoulder, not causing a problem. So it's still 14 minutes both ways on the Eisenhower from Wolf to the old post office. Inbound Stevenson from the Tri-State to Lakeshore, 16 minutes. It's also 16 minutes on the outbound side. And the Dan Ryan from 95th to the Byrne Interchange, inbound is 16 minutes, outbound is 13. And in downtown, Franklin Street is closed for tonight's New Year's Eve fireworks celebration between Lake Street and Wacker Drive. This report is a service of Supershore. Do you own a small business? You need to hear this. A seismic shift is coming. It's time to get Supershore. Not kind of sure, not pretty sure, not a little sure, but Supershore. The seismic shift is coming. Supershore coming soon. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, but now a check of your forecast from the National Weather Service.
Today will be chilly with a mix of sunshine and clouds. Later in the day, we can expect intermittent snow and flurries, but with little to no accumulation. Please be cautious of slippery spots. The high will reach 26. Tonight it will be breezy with some early snow, then mostly cloudy with a low of 22. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
All right, this is a good jam right here. AM 560, The Answer, Chicago's Morning Answer. Chris Crock in for Dan Proft. You want to follow me on Instagram, X, Facebook, at Chris Crock Show. That's at Chris Crock Show, CHRISKROK. You can just see what I just tweeted out on X, on a great meme with Tim Walz, a woman in a burqa, and what's that show? Wheel of Fortune. That's great. Okay, also the podcast. I do it most days at Rumble and YouTube at Crock Talk, KROK, TALK. So, John Yoo, former Deputy Attorney General in the Bush administration, saying what we've been talking about for several days now. The Bush administration, the Supreme Court told the Trump administration that they need to use regular forces. Regular forces are actually, and they refer to this, are the Marines and the Army under the Insurrection Act. And if those regular forces don't work, then he can call up the Guard. J.B. Pritzker seems to think he's got some, big boy, as I call him, B-O-I, big boy. He is big boy. Big boy is celebrating this, but not so fast. Here we go.
He said, look, I'm trying to enforce the laws with ICE agents, with federal law enforcement, and I can't do it, so I need to call the National Guard. But the statute says the president has to be unable to enforce the law with regular forces. What does regular forces mean? We don't know. The Supreme Court has never decided that question before yesterday. The Supreme Court now says regular forces means you have to try with the regular armed forces first before you can bring out the National Guard. So the unintended consequence here might be that the president is going to have to call the 82nd Airborne or the Marines or the 101st Airborne Division, as, for example, President Eisenhower did after Brown versus Board of Education in the South to enforce desegregation. President Trump might have to do that first in order to protect those federal buildings, those ICE agents. And then if they fail, he can then call out the National Guard. The Supreme Court is essentially inviting President Trump to send regular armed troops and deploy those to Chicago and Los Angeles before he can send the National Guard. I think a governor would rather have National Guard troops than the 82nd Airborne and the Marine Corps patrolling the streets of Chicago.
Love it. Love it, love it, love it. By the way, from thecentersquare.com, State Representative Adam Nymerg, if I'm pronouncing that right, or Nymerg, Republican from Dietrich, Illinois. He is the Republican spokesperson for the House Immigration and Human Rights Committee and said Trump should use every tool at his disposal, whether the Marines, National Guard, whatever is needed to restore safety, he should use them, Nymerg said. Kids and families should be able to walk down the Magnificent Mile, shop during the holiday season, and not feel scared. Yes, like when I was a kid growing up in Chicago and Chicagoland and would go there. I remember we used to go for Christmas time, all the display windows, for everything. Marshall Fields, which it should always be called. That never should be called Macy's, etc. And years later when my kids were growing up, my folks would be, when we're visiting in town, since we're out of town now, living in Dallas-Fort Worth, they'd say, well, we'll drive around downtown in the car, but we're not walking around. It's not safe. Yeah, not good. Not good at all. This is great. Headline from Breitbart, making fun of these losers in the fake news media. Look at this. Trump's migration policy threatens nation's shrubbery. Our shrubs are at risk. This is from an article in, what was this, the New York Times or New York Times Magazine, talking about landscaping with Trump rounding up and deporting all these illegals. Yeah, it was the New York Times. Quote, come spring, says an executive at Chicago area landscaping firm, the labor force would be 10 to 20% smaller regarding landscaping. Says a woman at a Chicago area landscaping firm. We know that deporting all these illegals drives up cost, but there are limits to how much customers will pay for decorative shrubs, and they may opt to go without. You guys, we are on the precipice of a shrub crisis. One day in the near future, not too distant future, you might be driving, say, in Lake of the Hills, or, I don't know, in Hammond, Indiana. Maybe you'll be in Naperville, and you'll be driving, and you'll be like, what is missing? Where are all the shrubs? And now you'll know you can blame it on Trump, on Orange Man. A great shrub crisis that first was reported in the New York Times. They're on it, guys. They're on it. This is crazy. This is so crazy. It was a rope-a-dope. They legalized marijuana in the state of Illinois 6 years ago. Attorney General Kwame Raoul, Governor Pritzker, most of all Democrats legalize weed. So that 6 years later, now they can say, now that we got you on the weed, now that you're doing weed, go do as much as you want, do it all the time. Now that you're doing that, you can't own a gun. No, it's illegal. If you smoke weed, and the definition is habitual. If you smoke weed in this undetermined amount of time that we'll just call habitual, which of course in Illinois means, if you do it once a week or twice a week, because whatever they can do to take away your guns. They now are saying in a brief filed with the U.S. Supreme Court, along with 18 other states, 17 of them are Democrat states, California, New York, New Jersey, Michigan, Minnesota, Maryland, Massachusetts, one Republican out of Ohio. This guy should be dragged out and thrown in the garbage on this one, his career at least. But they're saying now if you're smoking weed, quote-unquote, habitually, you shouldn't be able to own a gun. So isn't that great? What a great rope-a-dope. Get you high and say, oh, you've been getting high for 6 years? Take away your gun. That's it. They want you high. They want you unarmed, and they want you sentient, and they want you on their dole. They want you under their control, etc., etc., etc. It's just so what a sick way of. I saw that. I said, this is unbelievable. What else do I have for you here? We got some great stuff in the bag of stuff. By the way, if you want to chime in, number of course 312. 642-5600, 312-642-5600. Okay, I saw this and I was very, very sad. Very sad. I'm in Niles a lot when I'm in town. About that beautiful little Leaning Tower of Pisa. You got the Target over there, you got the Costco, etc. Developer plan. I saw this and I was like, no, that can't be the White Eagle. That can't be Shibuix. It can't be the place where, as a child, as a Polish-raised Roman Catholic Pole, like 3 million of us and strong in Chicagoland, they can't be taking away the precious and awesome place that I grew up going to for weddings, for communions, even deaths, you know what I mean? When I was young and dancing up a storm, when I was drinking kitty cocktails till my bladder burst, when I would crawl under the table and do stupid things as a wee lad, where I would grow up later and go as an adult for my aunt's funeral, for example. My aunt from Jefferson Park. Shabuiks, the White Eagle, has been purchased and they're destroying it. That is a freaking landmark, man. That is a piece of Poland as far as I'm concerned. A developer hopes to start, this is from the Sun-Times today. A developer hopes to start soon. If you know, the White Eagle is this long banquet hall, Polish. It's on Milwaukee Avenue. And it's really sad to see this go, to me. It really is. Longtime hub, White Eagle Banquet Hall, longtime hub of the area's Polish community. Chicago Sun-Times rightly says. The White Eagle operated in Niles since 1967 and just closed earlier this month. Boy, if I would have known. Get me a big fat plate of kapusta, some pierogi, some naleśnikis. They're planning to start demolishing the restaurant in January. This does make me very sad. The guy who bought it is a native of Poland and former Niles resident. Dude, come on, you're destroying our iconic place. He acquired the White Eagle site earlier this month for $5.7 million. Capacity of 1,500 people. The White Eagle was a common stop for family gatherings, political fundraisers, dignitaries, visitors including former Polish President Lech Walesa, Solidarity. Former dirtbag, horrible President Jimmy Carter, who's been only replaced to be the worst president by Joe Biden. And here's the biggest one of them all, Pope John Paul II. I'll never forget Pope John Paul II, so revered growing up with my grandma. Had him on the wall there, a picture of him, and how proud we all were of our Polish Pope. Polish is still our number one ethnic community, says Niles Mayor. Replacing the White Eagle's long blank wall will be this apartment community, whatever it is. The wall's cladding is thought to cover a facade for the Silverleaf Tavern dating from around 100 years ago. The developers require to see if the facade is salvageable and can be displayed. Please, anything. I'm just bummed. I just want to share that with you, That really is too bad. Shabuiks. Long live Shabuiks. All right, let's go. Well, let's first go to Winnetka. David, you're on AM 560, The Answer.
Chris, hey, good morning. You made me Rolodex my mind back to the good old days when you could walk, looking at all the sites in Marshall Field, Stop and Shop, and everything that had class. And Chicago was such a great place. And, the ushering in the BLM, defund the police, and everything now is just such a cesspool of disgusting mess. And what's interesting now, the same people that were screaming defund the police are now saying we need cops, we need more of them, we need more. Mm-hmm. Well, the whole thing is just another mess.
Let me ask you something. Do you remember in Marshall Fields for Christmas growing up? Do you remember the Christmas tree that was like umpteen floors high?
Oh, yeah, man.
Sitting in there and eating breakfast or lunch or whatever with your relatives and looking up at that thing. Do you remember the Santa Claus? It felt just like the one in A Christmas Story, except he wasn't up in a huge tower. It just pissed me off so much. I was in Madison, Wisconsin when Marshall Field sold out to Macy's. I was so pissed off. I was so pissed off. I still am. Thanks.
Quickly, I had a chance at my buddy's shop one time to play Santa Claus, and all the kids, the faces, the incredible. Man, it's gone. It's all gone. But,
appreciate you very much, brother.
Yeah, appreciate
Don't let it go away. We can still have it with the funniest thing in the world is watching my son playing Santa Claus at my parents' house. All right, I can't wait to talk to Leela, who's upset about White Eagle, too, in Glen Ellen. That's next. Chris, in for Dan, AM 560, The Answer.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Hey, Chicagoland, your trusted friend Jeff here from JeffBuysYourHouse.com. Over the past few months, I've shared how our veteran-led team serves Chicagoland homeowners. Today, I want to share with you what your neighbors are saying about working with us. Like Mary in Downers Grove, who wrote, "They listened to my concerns about moving from my home of 30 years and created a timeline that worked for me." Or Tom and Carol Stream, who said, "Their team helped me sort through 40 years of memories with respect and patience." This is why hundreds of your neighbors have given us a 5-star Google review and an A+ rating with the BBB. We don't just buy houses. We help people through life's transitions with understanding and care. No repairs needed, no cleanout required, and always on your timeline. Ready to work with the home buying team your neighbors trust? Sell your house to the trusted source by calling us at 630-895-9530. That's 630-895-9530 or JeffBuysYourHouse.com.
When it comes to industrial coating and finishing, cutting corners isn't an option. That's why leading manufacturers across the Midwest trust D&D Industrial Coatings in Racine, Wisconsin. From powder coating and liquid painting to blasting and custom finishing, D&D Industrial delivers top-tier protection and performance, fast, precise, and built to last. With over 40 years of experience, ISO-certified processes, and state-of-the-art lines, D&D handles everything from OEMs and petrochemical to agriculture, marine, construction, medical, and government specs. Family-owned, nationally trusted. Whether it's a short run or high volume, your parts are in expert hands, finished on time and finished right. Visit them today, ddindustrial.net. Again, that's ddindustrial.net. Or call them at 262-637-0686 to get your custom quote today. Again, that's 262-637-0686. D&D Industrial Coatings, engineered to protect, finished to impress.
Hi, this is Sean Thompson. The roller coaster, no matter your age, no matter the amusement park, it never ceases to bring the emotional goods, the anticipation, the excitement, and then the fear and the adrenaline rush that comes from the king of all rides. The same can be said when it comes to your retirement. Lots of questions and concerns that for some reason can feel like a roller coaster. Will you be able to continue to live as comfortably as you do now? Or will you have the complete financial independence? Or will you run out of money? How about taxes, Social Security, or health care? Tom Fortino and the team at Alpha Wealth Group can answer all of these questions and much more with their roadmap to retirement. And all you have to do is simply call 630-864-6711. That's 630-864-6711. Or online at alphawealthgroup.com. Call Alpha Wealth Group today, and let's save the fear and adrenaline for the amusement park.
When you can no longer handle your own home, Hearthstone Assisted Living at the Lutheran Home in Arlington Heights is here to help make life easier. Experience upscale living with comprehensive health services. We offer fine dining, engaging activities, available chaplains, weekly worship services, and quality amenities including a bistro, expansive library, and general store. For a limited time, mention WYLL for an additional discount. Call 847-595-5024 or visit LutheranLifeCommunities.org.
What if 2026 could be the best year ever for your retirement? It can when you take control of your financial future with physical precious metals. Call Advantage Gold at 800-741-GOLD right now and get your free gold rollover kit valued at $49, yours just for calling. More Americans than ever are discovering the power of rolling over a portion of their IRA or 401k into physical gold and silver. With a simple, tax and penalty-free rollover, you can add stability, security, and strength to your retirement. In times of inflation, uncertainty, or market swings, gold has been a steady, tangible, proven store of value. And in 2026, it could be the key to building the retirement you've always imagined. That's why so many people trust Advantage Gold, the #1 rated gold IRA company in America for 10 years running. Call 800-741-GOLD to get your free gold rollover kit. Call 800-741-GOLD and let 2026 be the year you finally take control. Consult your financial advisor before investing. Call 800-741-GOLD.
Making the switch to a new communications and IT company may seem like a big ordeal, but if you're not getting the reliable support, consistent internet, and secure solutions your company needs, meet Access One, your local Chicagoland IT experts. Access One has been powering Chicago businesses with secure, reliable IT solutions for over 30 years from our headquarters right here in the West Loop. Whether it's VoIP phones, dedicated internet, managed cybersecurity, cloud backups, or 24/7 support, Access One is here for you. Serving thousands of companies from Naperville to the North Shore, Access One is Chicago-owned and Chicago-run, a trusted IT partner for law firms, clinics, tech startups to manufacturers. We'll make the switch easier than you think. Let's talk. Call 800-804-8333 or visit accessoneinc.com. Rated top 5% in customer satisfaction and a Better Business Bureau A+ rated business. That's accessoneinc.com. Tech made personal locally.
AM 560.
But there's just a whole bunch more. AM 560, The Answer. Let's go right to Leela in Glen Ellen. Leela, I can't wait to take your call on this about Shabuick's, the White Eagle shutting down.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. First, I want to say it's a pleasure to talk with you. I can identify with you. I was raised on the northwest side of Chicago. I went to Catholic schools. I worked at Rush downtown as a nurse for 45 years. And I have to say, everything we did milestone-wise went on at the White Eagle.
Yes.
My family is dead, buried across the street in St. Adalbert.
Yes, my family is too. I gotta go. But listen, my family's buried there too. I've been to my grandma's funeral, my aunt's funeral there. God bless you. This, I can't wait to talk to you again on Friday. This is AM 560, The Answer, Chicago's Morning Answer.
Getting ready for New Year's Eve. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. They'll do a test run in a few hours in New York's Times Square for the ball drop tomorrow night.
More than 3,000 pounds of biodegradable confetti going to rain down at midnight on New Year's, including 180,000 personal wishes submitted by people around the world.
Fox's Todd Pyro also reports there's a lot of security in place.
Officials are warning Americans to be aware of their surroundings after foiling a New Year's Eve terror bomb plot in California. The FBI says 4 suspects were arrested for allegedly planning to attack ICE agents and detonate pipe bombs in at least 5 businesses